heavy their play style when it comes to fighting is. There is an issue when it comes to their loadout. They don't have that many materials the way that they've been dropping so far, but who needs to farm materials when Peterbot is able to go from 60 to 40 to 120 materials within 15 seconds? They don't need to farm materials when the rest of the lobby is farming materials for them, Zeke.
Yeah, I mean, when you're Peterbot, you know, just let everyone else farm materials, farm everything you want, eliminate them, and then also walk away with a bunch of money. That's just what Peterbot does. That's what he does. Now, when we talk about just excellence and amazing people, we can't not talk about Monster Defense and Jacob BR as your casters. Let's say hi.
Thank you, Zeke. That's right. We are gearing up, and man, how fast!
All right, so we are here for the watch party. Let's do it.
Is already here, Jacob.
Yeah, you blinked. We're already here in the group stages, and we're talking about so many teams. Let's mention G Money, Osid, and Bryce. There's a team I feel like they're coming in with a chip on their shoulder. Kanata left them, so there wasn't enough time. There wasn't enough experience for this team, so he had to go ahead and switch. But this is a team I'm going to look at to succeed here today. But there's so much action to break down before we get into game number one. Zeke, what else you got for us?
Anybody else notice that Jacob's really tall? Anyway, let's talk about the brand new season, Chapter 6, Season 2, Lawless. Guys, this is like my play space, right? I love the heist themes where we're breaking into vaults, the spy stuff. That's where I like to live. But in Lawless, we got new POIs, we got black markets, we got a healing meta, we got mobility, we got a gold river. There's so many things new about this, and this west side of the map, Vivid, just looks so juicy.
I mean, it is incredible, right? 4 new POIs going to be implemented over there. Lone Wolf Lair, Shiny Shafts, Outlaw Oasis, Crime City, and them all being in this little area and connected by, of course, that golden river that can provide that gold rush effect. So much stuff going on this side of the map.
And that gold is going to be a little bit beneficial as our teams are collecting the gold and making their way to the black markets. And not just with the gold, but of course that new in-game currency, Vivid. We have those little dill bits everywhere that gives you quite the loot in these black markets.
I love these black markets, right? Because sometimes you're playing a game like Fortnite, a battle royale, and sometimes you just don't get the loot that you want. Love the implementation of using the in-game currency to actually be able to go to a spot on the map and be like, hey, listen, I need heals, I need a different weapon. Go ahead. You can actually just go ahead and choose what you want to buy. Super cool implementation, but I can almost guarantee you we're going to see some fights around these black markets.
That's what I'm here for, right? More chaos, more fights, more engagements. Yes. How are you guys feeling about this heal off meta? So there's been a ton of new items and some old ones reintroduced. So it feels now more than ever, healing is like a viable strategy to win. Like that heal off meta is very prevalent.
I mean, especially with all the new heals that we have in the game, right, Vivid? I mean, between the Chug Jug coming back, we do have those gold splashes. And then, of course, the Med Mist here, which my favorite thing is watching players kind of sneak by and steal someone else's Med Mist.
The one thing about these heals, right, is that they all kind of feel good to use, which is what I love about them. And then those combined with like old heals, kind of like the med kits, right? Yeah, these players are going to be prone to sneaking off into the storm and using some of these to go ahead and gather up some extra placements. I'm sure we'll see some of that.
And my favorite addition to this season, Zeke, is definitely the kneecapper. As soon as you see that on the ground, you know that you are going to pick it up. Everything that it brings, not just the speed, but also the utility, Vivid, it is definitely a must-have.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead and equip that thing, right? Hold it out. You're going to have increased running speed. You're going to be able to avoid fall damage, and you're also going to be able to jump higher. It's kind of like that item that separates this season from others for sure. So if there's one of these that are going to be on the ground or available to our players, they're definitely going to go ahead and pick it up. But instantly, these professional players, they get so good with these weapons like Cole does right there. He's able to kind of min-max the amount that he's actually able to get out of it by equipping it, jumping higher, getting some sneaky shots in.
Yeah, the kneecapper rules. It is probably my favorite item and piece of mobility we've seen in a while. And the fact that you can just like home run someone out into the storm or just off of a building or away from you is awesome. Now, we are moments away from starting off the competition here in Major number 2. I want to get your guys' thoughts. What are you hoping to see in the 5 games we have ahead of us?
Oh gosh, there's so much to say, especially when you have a team like Peterbot that's going to be going up against the rest of the competition. I want to see people putting up a fight. I don't know if they're going to walk away with the first win, but they might, Vivid.
Yeah, I mean, listen, regardless of who ends up qualifying through victory royales or consistency, I just want one thing and one thing only: 5 good games of Fortnite.
Let's go, Vivid. That's what I like to hear. With that being said, it is that time. So everyone find your seats on the bus. Let's kick off the competition.
These group stages are going to be short and sweet. 5 games is all it takes. Victor Royales, of course, to punch these teams through, Jacob. I'm ready for the action.
No, it's definitely going to heat up really quick. Those first couple of games, some teams might use them as a little bit of a feeler game, but as those opportunities run out, I'm going to see the pressure get to a lot of the teams, especially if they're not in contention of that consistency leaderboard, leading only a win and in situation. Luckily, you said there's 5 games, there's 2 different chances, so there is a lot of time for teams to really make up a point deficit.
And then we, of course, know that when a team wins, they go on. So the dynamic can change round to round.
All right, chat. Before we get into the first match, I'm gonna quickly go grab my pizza. I do not want to miss this. This is the one I've been waiting for all day.
You think it's going to be the hottest?
I think Crime City, Peterbot, Cold, Ritual, a lot of people predict them for that game 1 win. They're going to be out of the lobby, and that opens up that drop spot. But let's see if they can win game 1 where anybody step up to the plate, because the battle bus is ready and the game starts now. Hey, honestly, Monster, that's kind of the trend of a lot of these lobbies, is changing up your drop spots, because I was trying to look like a draft map yesterday, trying to figure out where these teams would drop. I woke up today, a few different changes already, so I expect to see that throughout the day as the lobby adapts. Maybe 1 team goes over to Crime City, maybe 2, and as the lobby predicts, 3, 4, a lot of spots will open up, which gives a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, we didn't really
All right, chat, we
much
back.
about what types of battles are going to be going on in the early game.
Already started. All right, we ain't missed none yet. Good shit.
Teams are the big names to look out for, right? The dynamic as we start to set the stage. But look at this. There is inevitable competition happening everywhere. Demon's Dojo seems to be a hot one, not only in the Major 1 group stages, but the trend carries on to Major 2 here. 3 teams looking to hash it out right now, and so far, seems like Wigs is in the lead.
Yeah, the straight 50-50. Do you see that in the feed right
Yes, I
now?
do.
A big battle. You thought it was going to be uncontested, but Visuals, Braids, and a Minish. I think this is a chip on their shoulder from Major 1. They talked about the server room. They talked about the guaranteed rare chest. Well, guess who has it now?
Braids, Minish, and Visuals securing those eliminations early on here to touchdown first, and all of a sudden now
They got that for sure.
Lead put up in front of them. What does this mean for the overall competition? I mean, at this point, I think they're just getting started right here. So, hey, you know, there's always mix-ups. You never really know.
Yeah, and I only saw 2 eliminations fully cleaned up, so there might be hope. I think Ritual might have been able to stay alive, so it's really going to be up to him to keep their game 1 intact. But back on over to Demon's Dojo, something that you pointed out, that 3rd team lands a little bit towards the north around the mountain area of Demon's Dojo, so they're not directly in that fight, but eventually, because there is not a lot of loot over there, or it takes a lot of time to gather it, they will end up moving towards the south, which I do think I see a 4th team over on that side of things.
Crazy work right here. Demon's Dojo. Wonderful draw spot. Not sure if there's enough loot there for 4 teams, though. That'll really spread things thin. But, hey, teams are getting eliminated pretty quickly now. The first full team wipe, you can see, taking its effect inside of the count there for overall squads. Here's the thing, though. Notoriously, game 1, you know, trends to be the most stacked. But something about the pacing so far seems to be keeping these teams very much on edge here as they're going straight for the action non-stop. Are we seeing a new era, a new dawn of players coming out of here for NA?
I think so. I feel like for so long, I know we talked about Peterbot, but you have Kanata, you have Clicks, you have both. You have so many hyper-aggressive players that get their points and their surge through eliminations. I think that's eventually going to catch on. Even a contested drop like Mass Meadows, they started at 2 different sides of the POI. Eventually, because there is a vault to break into, they will start to converge in that area, but you see a whole nother team already moving in. It might be the team from Hopeful Heights. That might be G-Money's team trying to third party.
Yeah, we saw Bryce there really looking to take an angle, possibly third party this fight going on right now for Plaz, Vedix, and CR from the Wick. Seems like they've now evened the score there. Jumping on over to Ritual, I'd assume he'd have to be farming.
This is who I want to see.
Here, right? Possibly looking to situate himself for Crime City to get his team back in the game, but this is no easy task. As if Ritual didn't already have pressure, now he has to save his whole squad.
Oh, is that new purchase, that new feature into the game?
There it is.
Sold here. He's going to go ahead and get hopefully both of his teammates back, because he did get that vault all to himself. You're talking about how much gold it actually is, but that's already Aviv, that's Chimp, that's Skittles. That's the ones you're seeing just north of Crime City, probably looting up that black market. But this Reboot van is a lot of noise, and that lets them know there might be some weak players they can potentially take down.
Hey, that's Peterbot's squad back in. That was crazy to see Peterbot and them dead. Not gonna lie.
Looking for a little angle. Wiggs gets the tag from the low ground here. Now looking to get back with his squad to go ahead and control things. Now, remember, this team already fought off, right? Fended off their drop, and this is the southern team, or I should say, sorry, the northern team rotating south here into Roars and company. Very tough ask, right? As you try to situate yourself here, then you get a team just rotating in quickly, but they are doing a very good job so far playing the low ground. But wait a second, now more action starts to show up here. Noisy, Creo, and Tony. Here's a veteran trio trying to put their take on the matter.
Yeah, they heard all this noise going down. They were the ones I was talking about, a potential fourth team besides the three that landed in and around Demon's Dojo. They're able to loot up towards the outside, and they got a fair bit amount of loot, but the fight's already breaking down. Creo's already going to get
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
by Wiggs, and that puts the tides in their favor, but they're trying to do what they can to even the numbers, and Tony does just that, getting an elimination of his own, bringing it down to a 2v2. But I say that relatively loosely because there's still those teams or those scattered players on the outsides. You can see them very clearly in the minimap.
Hey, look, Tony, Noisy, and Creo, this is a team that's been around the block, right? They know what's going on here. They know how to handle themselves in these types of settings. They seem to have the best loadout, the best odds at success here. We saw for a brief moment, Silence and Wiggs, I mean, between them two, barely had 10 shotgun bullets here. So this is a fight that cannot go on too much longer. Otherwise, they're just going to fizzle out. They're going to come up short, but take a look here. Wiggs managed to secure a little bit more now, and they're starting to get their footing back in the game. Another trio rotating from the south, though, down into the Demon's Dojo. What is going on here? What a hot spot for group number one.
Yeah, you're seeing kind of how...
Hey, what's up, Katie? Hey, but sorry I haven't been there around.
This is just game
Shit
one.
to... Yeah, you good.
The first stage of
It's all
the
good,
series
man.
after getting this
I know you be
far.
busy and you going through a lot of stuff right now, so...
Skater and High R,
You know,
kind of
but as always, I'm always here. You know, Sam always a message away, stream away, whenever you need me, wherever you need me.
in this group, so it's not going to be easy. Just like we saw some of those fights on the other side of the map.
I would ask how you feeling. You saying having a shitty day, but so sorry you're going through that. But other than that, how's it going? Other than the shitty parts of it, how's it going? BRB? Okay, but
that land towards Lone Wolf, that's going to be their step number 2 once they're able to get that vault. If in this situation they're able to get the vault.
Lone Wolf's a great POI just in general too. That natural elevation you pick up from the Lone Wolf is huge for these types of difficult lobbies with, of course, the type of player that we're looking at, the best of the best on NA. So things are just getting started here. Gambian and company seem to be pretty content with the low ground for now, but notice their material counts. They are desperate for a little bit more here. We'll see how far they can take this one here. As other
damn,
teams
it's
are
3
now
teams
starting
there.
forwards. Meanwhile, the recovery for Ritual in cold here at the Crime City. This is arguably the best, the strongest POI on the map right now, and defended by the hands of Peterbot right now. They need these tags, right? They're very far behind.
Yeah, I can't imagine them having much surge to their names because it was both Peterbot and Cold that were in the fights that got taken down. Ritual was the one looting up Crime City away from his teammates, so likely not a lot of damage there. But I don't think that takes away too far from their actual game plan, because if you know and watch a lot of Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual as a team, they do rotate towards the west, the north, the south. They do fight deep in the zone, box to box, and that's how they usually get a lot of their Storm Surge. It's just how easy is it actually going to be no longer
Yeah, it's
having
about to
that
be crazy
millisecond
pressure
punch,
right here.
no more one-shot potential coming out of Peterbot.
Can only imagine someone's first time watching competitive Fortnite, you see someone like Peterbot swinging that fast. That gold rush effect really changing the dynamic of the game. He was already quick with the builds and all that good stuff before. I can't wait to see how it plays out as the game starts to develop here. Osid, Bryce, and G-Monster put a lot of emphasis on this team as one of the rising trios on the region here. Now paired up with Bryce. I think Bryce is going to bring a lot of experience, a lot of veteranship to this squad here, and this is something that they can absolutely take advantage of right now. I'm curious, though. I don't know the dynamic of who's the shot caller Would it be Bryce as he's filling the shoes of Kanata, right? Because Kanata specifically mentioned, hey, I can't worry about trying to improve myself while leading, a team, right? It seems like he wants to kind of take a step back from being the leader of a squad. So I am curious.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of those kind of questions answered throughout the course of the day as we tune in to Zach, Stiff, and Sobzy. Don't get confused. That is Sobzy. Just trying to get some damage just west of Flooded Frogs. And if you looked at the drop map, obviously things can change before game one, after game one. It is around this area, Flooded Frogs, a little bit towards the west, a little bit towards the south, that had the most contested fights, that had the most congestion overall. But back on over to Crime City. Somebody's trying to enter in and pick up scraps, but they run into Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold, something that you don't see very often because how active they actually are. But since they got taken down early, that put a stop to their game plan, slowed them down just a little bit. But they're really trying to take all these opportunities and take these fights while they can, especially with the zone pulling further and further away, which means there's not many opportunities for third parties, but there is one.
See how clean Cold was with it, cutting off the team there. Almost caught the double edit on Mississippi on the low ground there. Notice what Peterbot's doing as he ran through. Cones out.
Woo!
And just as I'm about to call the piece, he was way ahead of him. And this is what Peterbot does best.
Oh my
He is
God.
just steps and levels ahead of the competition. Little mechanics like that really make a difference. And look at how quickly Jacob now, he's converting.
I ain't gonna lie, that was crazy.
He's warming up. Peterbot's
Crazy
coming
prediction.
online. Cole's just off the chase, and he chases him directly into Peterbot again, and that's the second elimination. Almost max mats. Outside the rarity of their loot, you would almost never be able to tell they've gone down, but NPen, Oliver OG, and Larson, that third-party team, they heard the noise. But that's the thing. Do you really want a third-party, a team like Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual, if they even know it's them?
This is very questionable. NPen, Larson, Oliver OG should know much better than to try to take their hand at this, but look at the HP count. They seem a little bit desperate for a potential siphon or something right here. Do they have a med miss? Do they have anything to work with right now?
A little bit. I'm hoping they at least came prepared, especially with how long they've actually been in the zone, but they're going to be the first to disengage. Whether they know who it is or not, I agree with that. They're probably realizing with the zone pulling further and further away, taking a senseless fight like this deep into the zone might not be the most fruitful, so they're going to make their way over to Black Market, and you're seeing just a quick replay. He sits down one player, even while having to reload. His teammates drop him into the box. Peterbot goes back to back, and it goes to shoot. Goes to show that it's not the loot that makes the player, it's the player that makes the loot.
Yeah, the difference before that is when he walked into that low ground area, he was putting cones down. He was already, again, 2 steps ahead of the opponent. The moment he broke that floor, bam, he made the cone edit. Just no time to waste there. But let's jump in with Swappy, Slate, and Zemo here. So they've already lost a teammate. It seems like this is a huge setback for them right now, but trying to get their footing back in the competition. Now, this is a team that has won a game in a final setting before, so don't count them out just yet. It could be one of the few to go ahead and punch their way straight to the finals here, coming out of this group stage. For Shadow, Tyler, and Curve, we also expect them to show up once again for another finals. They are one of those veteran teams, of course, showing up here. Vivid said it best, I would say. He's been rooting for, the likes of Shadow, Curve, Tyler, but specifically Shadow for a long time. I have as well. We've seen him grow so much as a player, and he's only continued to trend upward. So this could be another breakout moment as he's slowly working his way up the overall standings here as a prominent player for NA.
Talk about another player from NA, Cease. I would like to see, is he one of the oldest players in terms of longevity still competing in the game? How many other players would make that list? But he's kind of pairing himself up with some new and younger talent, Preston and Joe. And they've actually been pretty well, pretty consistent watching Cease perform. They're obviously not the most aggressive team out of the gates, but they played towards their teamwork play style. They get surged.
Yeah, that was stupid. That was just stupid.
But shots like that is a little bit of that inexperience coming out because there's a team boxed up right next to him in a surge tower. He's just simply trying to get a little bit more materials, but those materials you don't necessarily need. He takes some damage, forced to race resources, but that's that learning experience right there in action.
I was about to say, you should have boxed up in front of you and to the right of you before breaking that if you were going to try to get those mats.
Eyes on the prize here as they have the safe zone They're looking to use that storm to their advantage right now, forcing a trio back in to rotate further and further around. Is very well executed for them. Things are going to settle here, but little plays like that allow you to claim that territory. Meanwhile, what is happening here?
Oh shit.
Jace
Oh, this is a
chasing
fight right
down
here.
the likes of
Oh
Nancy.
shit.
Oh,
Mm.
the wall was just ready for the taking here.
Oh
Red
yeah.
V
Oh
jumps
yeah.
on
These dudes are
Eddie.
king. Them.
Full aggro
Holy.
play here. The commitment, if you will, from this trio can be felt on all sides, and that's a quick
Oh
wipe
yeah.
up there. Meanwhile, Osage
Yeah, them
tries to
dudes
get a
were
little
king
piece
the
of action,
fuck
but
out of them.
Osage leads
Holy.
the party.
And Jace, Madden, Trio just really had no choice. You saw kind of the reason why they were pushing into that fight in the first place, down below the Storm Surge threshold. Not necessarily the most resources and materials, so they were able to pick that up, even while taking shots from that third party of Bryce, Osid, and G-Money. And now they're going to let the dust settle a little bit, get all their loot, get their health back up, and start to formulate what that next strategy is. But luckily for them, you can kind of see here from Encrypted, Stacks, and Death on their screen, the zone is going to pull towards the south. So not a lot of rotation for the teams that have been realistically rotating the whole game, with it pulling towards the north as far as it has.
Definitely a far pull for the likes of that trio, but Dev, Stacks, and Encrypted, one of the teams coming down to the pump power. They're going to be earlier to the catch here. Fully maxed Matt. Seems like things are going very well for this trio here. We've only had a brief moment where Storm Surge was warning the lobby to get active, but again, this is off to a very fast start, right? Traditionally, you'll see much more higher player count numbers, but doesn't seem like it's been too much of a problem for the majority of the teams here.
Okay.
Most have been
I didn't even know
committed
that.
to
Good stuff.
finishing the battles. If you're playing a more traditional strategy, like Edgy is here. We talked about OGs, right? Like Cease. Edgy is definitely one of them, and he's taking that very standard approach, right? High ground.
I knew Cease was an OG. I just didn't know he played that many.
And just fishing for tags here with this trio.
Yeah,
That's
this
just
is
crazy.
almost like that very, very early strategy over towards Brutal Box cards, especially when it's uncontested. You're able to spread out so far across the mountains. There's a lot of loot up there as well, including the Brutal Box cards where you get your loot and your metal. So they really have not had to move far from this situation. But with most of the teams really not having to rotate, you see why they're struggling when it comes to Storm Surge. It's not a lot, only 18 below, still juggling those numbers. They have a lot of opportunity and targets down below, but they have to be careful as Edgy quickly becomes the target. Zone after zone, though, Monster. Since about Zone 3, Storm Surge has affecting a lot of the teams and really dictating some of their gameplay.
Yeah, look at this. Storm Surge now getting active. I might have spoken too soon, but look, Cease looking for the chop out from down low. This is a big power play for them. Luckily for the high ground team, they managed to get
Good
their play,
tags.
but not for long. The shots come out. Joe falls first. Cease severely damaged by another trio that sees what's going on here, and Edgy, Chance, and Scar somehow get their bearings put right back under them.
This is not good, though. Storm Surge is still active. About 7 seconds. Cease needs the hill. It's his only shot. Just too little, too late, though. He goes down. Preston follows. Full duo gets sent back to the lobby in game 1. And that one, that's going to hurt because it's not until top 17 you start even gaining placement points. So if you weren't able to get eliminations or any of that placement points just yet, you're really going to start to count those games because they're going to go pretty quick today.
Yep, fucking right.
How lucky for
First
Edgy,
games,
Chance,
I mean,
and Cheer that Cease's team actually needed
the
the
EU
surge
matches went
records
by
here.
fast as
Yes,
hell.
play by them, but so did Edgy's team. They were the trio right above that line, riding the threshold ever so closely. So look at this. When it all kicked off, they were actually below for a second there. And then the tag that changed it all for Edgy here. Edgy really putting up the numbers here. Gets the final one. Lets the Surge do the rest. And just like that, rewarded for his efforts.
Just a lot of experience, honestly, for them just kind of not full aggressing into the box, even though they were below Surge for a couple of seconds before that fight even happened. Minish, Braids, and Visuals, big fight off Spawn. Those are the 2 eliminations they've had so far. And because of them getting those 2 eliminations, that actually opened up a lot of space in the early game where they're not going to run into the likes of Peterbot and Cold early on. So they're able to dominate a lot of that early space, getting their Surge towers, but another max pool coming out for everybody that's on.
That's how you know Peterbot is so good when everybody's so afraid of him. Even the commentators are like over gassing him. I'm saying to like completely avoid him.
After a close call with trio at Crime City. They get to the zone. They find themselves a refresher right on the edge of the next pull, and that's going to be wonderfully positioned for them now, as they'll have the extra mats to go ahead and secure this. Meanwhile, Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual already on the move here, also riding that damage from the trio fight at their drop spot. And this is interesting, right? Magic Moss is so many trees here, really clouding up the vision, if you will, for the majority. Notice there's no one committing big material here to look up and over these trees. Instead, basing around the outskirts. So this is going to really change the dynamic for a little bit. I'm curious to see where the zone's going to pull. If someone can even attempt to go for a high ground hold, it's going to be difficult to find Taz. On the other side.
Yeah. Your name is right. Jesus Christ. That boy got beamed, yo.
This is one of those teams, they land all the way towards the west. Outlaws, Oasis, sometimes even further down, depending on who else is in the lobby. Aviv, Skittles, and Chimp, 232 above the damage threshold. This is a team, if I feel like they're going to make it in to the FNCS finals through this group, I feel like it is going to be mostly through consistency, but they found a slower rotation of the zone. You see how many teams they've separated and pushed farther and further away, so they don't have to take fights like this. But Larson, Enpen, Oliver OG, another new trio to this group, making it this far, only 109 above that damage threshold. They're trying to be very, very proactive because they don't want to be one of the teams that's below the threshold, forced to rotate through these merming zones where they don't really have too much control over their rotations.
Early use of the Chug Jug there to go in and put Larson right back off into some decent health territory for this final rotate here. They're going to need a refresh here shortly. Surge once again now, raising damage across the lobby. Meanwhile, Edgy Chance and Scare got a long way to go, and they're tagging players in the distance as opposed to making the rotate here while everyone else is, and it's time to get going.
Ooh, Chance has the mythic Sentinel pump. That means he had to have got it or snatched it out of somebody's hand. I didn't really see Visuals, Braids, or a Minish go down, so that's a big grab for them to be able to get. And you can see in the opportunity, the risk they've taken up into this with 3 eliminations, how much it's bolstered their loadout. But while everybody's rotating on the low ground, there's one team emerging.
Ooh.
No, it had to be Enpen, Peterbot, and him collide. Oliver OG is next. Throughout the game, seeing them, I had such nice thoughts thinking about them performing through consistency. Unfortunately, they ran
Ain't
into
gonna lie.
Pete himself.
The 200 pump was nice.
Full circle for that trio now. It's just unavoidable in these types of games. Well, let's not forget what's on the line here. It's a ride straight to the grand finals if you get this victory out. Shutaki and Vert going for the high ground here early in this round. We talked about if whether or not Magic Mosses was gonna be even worth building up this high, and as you can see, things are starting to get leveled out. Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual taking a much different approach here, saying, you know what, we're content with this low ground. We're gonna play down here, play for these refreshers here. And they have so much mats to work with right here. Big 4 eliminations, leading at the front side of zone. Jacob, I mean, it's just textbook right now.
Yeah, this is looking like a recipe for success. Even with Ishao, Taki, and Vert on the high ground, this is almost even giving me a feeling of deja vu. Different trio, they had Enpen on their team, but this is almost a very, very similar situation. It was a battle on high ground that eventually took them down, and they missed the finals. Braids, Visuals, a Minish, they're getting sprayed, target on the other side. Even Pre-Edit's trying to come in, but they're able to hold on to their place. Not really let those players advance into their box, but you see they're running.
Hey, these dudes are playing well together. I ain't gonna lie, these dudes are here solid.
No extra heals. The big thing for them though is
Yeah, but they did run out of heals, so they need that.
above the damage threshold. Which means
They gotta go get a refresh on somebody.
their rotations.
Yeah, that was the last of their heals right there. This is a very desperate end game now starting to take place. Noticing Cold's team takes a little bit of damage here for jumping in onto Cowie and crew. The finish is there.
Ooh, good shit.
Big come ups for Cold there. But all right, the wide start starting to give us
They are fucking cooking,
overall
chat.
visual, if you will, of this game here. 7 eliminations now for Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual. Peterbot facing the damage head on right now, but they are right back like they never left. Here it is, breaking on in through the walls, getting the piece control. Peterbot looking for the wall. He gets it, of course.
There you go. Oh my god.
And the follow-up is so perfect from Cold.
Saying they know how to use them splashes, bro.
Here on the low ground. Meanwhile, Ritual making sure their 6 is covered on the high ground, though. No contestation so far for the high ground team. They're starting to run low on the material count. I'm not sure if they're going to have what it takes, Jacob, to ride it through to the end if they don't find a refresh soon.
Ooh, Peter went down.
Somebody just has to look up. They're all on wood. Those are easy targets and builds to crash down, but nobody's had a chance. There might be one on the side, Sigma, Desi over there, but they're the ones that are getting targeted. Ishao, Taki, and Bert, they know exactly what to do. Anybody that threatens their high ground, they're going to become the targets as Taki gets the elimination. Grumps to the backside of zone, refreshes those materials, but Peterbot and Cold go down again. It's up to Ritual by himself as a solo.
Little missed edit there though, cost him a couple mats here, but hey, he's
Hey, bro, they got a lot of kills though. They may not win this one, but hey, bro, they got a lot of kills to run it.
Difficult ask here to pull a full victory solo dolo, but nonetheless the points are starting to rack up here as he's still remaining in the game. Player on his mat here, he's going up, looking to contest high, but hey, that's a whole trio there. Might have been a little too risky.
Just went for everything. He just went for it all, trying to move up. But
Yeah, they lost. Good try though. That was fire. They was keying though.
Duos. Some of them are stuck as solos as Encrypted just gets chopped down to a sliver of HP. Death goes down altogether. Stax is the only one here, and he's got overtaken by high ground. Vert said, nah. You may have taken it for a moment, but this throne is ours. But he gets kneecapped to the tree outside of zone. Stax is not going down without a fight.
It's costing him everything here. Stacks, the last man standing, but Vert is too, uses the kneecap to get off to the high ground, and that's just gonna keep him in the game right now. But what will it be here? No mats now, looks to break out Vert. He's asking for it. Itaki hits the shot there out of nowhere. I thought he was gone, but from the storm, one rises. The low ground team of Chimp. Skittles is still alive here, and they're putting on the pressure for the victory in the end.
That is an 8 elimination victory royale for Skittles, Chimp, and Aviv. I thought it was consistency, but they want to have the rest of the day off, Monster. They get to
I ain't
watch
gonna
the rest
lie.
of Group 1 go by.
That was
Wanna
crazy.
see
That
who
was
runs
a
with Pop
super
20.
intense
Is
in-game.
Make it out of this one. Is Visuals gonna make it out of this one? Congratulations to them.
But Peterbot and them went crazy. I think they still had the highest kills though, because they were just wiping at the end right there.
Teams that have been in these settings before, coming through, putting up a fight, and closing out in strong fashion. But hey, this is what happens when teams go for height and they decide to clash it out, right? The low ground vets, they just clean up the dust here, sweep it under the rug, and then when you look up, the teams are in shambles, and it makes it look so simple. Big victory royale here for the fellas here. Game 1 now concluded though, Zeke.
That's an AJ one. Okay, good shit. I didn't even realize he was on the team. I'm over here not even reading the names, bro.
Kick off the competition. I mean, to see someone like Peterbot and kind of their trio get put in a situation where Rituals left as a solo should tell you everything. But for this trio, as they said, they've got themselves a spot going to the finals. It's got to feel so good. And to just kind of get it out of the way, right? Game 1, we're good. All right, now we just watch.
And this is a trio we had no doubt, or at least I didn't have any doubt in my mind that they were going to be making it into the Major 2 finals. Aviv, Skittles, and Chimp, they are the most veteran trio that we have here. 47 finals appearances out of the 3 of them. And honestly, it just looked like it was kind of a normal day for them, Vivid, on the low ground there, allowing everyone else to kind of destroy each other on height while they just had an easy breezy way in.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those classics, right, for Fortnite. Everybody kind of going up, fighting over the high ground, and then there's that full healthy trio on the low ground, just like, oh, you guys have done all the work for us. Oh, thanks. Yeah, we'll go ahead and go to the finals for this major right here. But yeah, I mean, Chimp, Skittles, Aviv, so much experience under their belt. No surprise to see them go in early.
And of course, that does mean that we do have a POI opening up on that west side of the map. With it being the group stages, there is just only so much that we can predict because these trios kind of like to change things up as the games do go on. Now moving from 33 trios now to 32 trios, as of course we do have Chimp's trio already punching their ticket into the finals.
Yeah, that's gotta feel really good just to get it out of the way. And now that's it. For everyone else, how do we adapt, right? With only 4 games left to go, we need a victory royale, or we need to make sure we end the day in the top 5 of placements to secure our spot in the finals. For now, though, we're going to take a break. When we return, we'll break down more of what we saw out of game number 1. So stay tuned.
Nah, but that was fire, though. Them boys are going crazy. I ain't gonna lie, they did their thing with jumping into the store and taking all that damage just to knock out Peterbot. That was risky, but hey, it worked. Got them the dub. But all right, Chet, we going into game 2, bro. Let's see what's going on with game 2. And I do want to see the stats though, 'cause I still think Peterbot's team. I think they did get the most kills. 'Cause, bro, I'm trying to tell you, they was wiping shit right there, bro. All right, 20 seconds. Chat, and you're able to see the leaderboard and we see the stats.
I don't know about y'all, but I was jamming to that track there. That was a good one. That was a good one. Welcome back to the FNCS. We got done with game number 1, but we still have 4 games left to go. Let's talk about game number 1. It was chaotic, all right? Let's just start with Peterbot and his trio, right? To kind of set the tone of this is not what we expected, right? We kind of expected them to kind of just come out and maybe win game number 1, Kelly, and then to see them in the situation they were with the loadouts that they had, and then finally to be left Ritual by himself. Tough.
First of all, at the start of the show, I said that they might not win game 1, so don't throw my hat into the ring of thinking that this is how things were going to go. I predicted this no, not exactly, but Ritual coming out with the clutch there. Of course, we got the reboot coming out for both Cold and Peterbot. Kind of wish we got to see a little bit earlier. I'm excited to actually rewatch that game again to see what exactly happened at the start, but being able to convert a rough start into a good middle and late game is what really makes or breaks this trio here.
I mean, you would imagine that, like, you take it out and you're like, oh, well, they didn't win the game. Maybe it's because they had to go ahead and get, like, a double reboot up. But they actually recovered very, very well from that, right? But it's just going to be that stylistic thing for this trio where it's like, yeah, even though they're going to be in a good spot, like, towards the end game right there on the low ground, when they had, like, 100-plus builds each after they just picked up a couple
Like, that shot right there was nuts.
They continue to fight, right? Like, that's just how they like to play. It's obviously going to be risky, but it's also one of those type of things that's like, hey, listen, even if we're in a good spot, we care about one thing and one thing only. That's going to be pretty much just making sure the lobby always feels their presence. They know they're going to make it to finals. Why not just keep going for more and more eliminations? And unfortunately for them, though, Edgy, Scare, and Chance on the other side of this were able to fend them off.
But still, getting 9 eliminations and having Ritual being able to survive until 7th place there is still able to get them those points. There is not any worry in my mind, or I think anyone's, that they're not going to get either a victory royale today or be able to be in our top 5. And currently they are in 3rd place through consistency, mostly due to going down in 7th place there. Of course, though, we saw Taki, Isho, and
Look at that, bro. 10
having
of
a
them.
pretty good time holding high ground from really early on, around 8th zone right there, and being able to kind of control
And
it
they
all the
did
way
get
to
that
the
8 or
very
11 too at the end. So
having 7
them boys locked it
eliminations
in.
as well, but of course, Death's trio currently sitting in 3rd, and then as I said, Peterbot's trio in 4.
Yeah, and when it comes down to Death Show, right, we saw Stacks putting on quite a showing towards the top of the builds over there, towards the high ground, right? Jacob was going crazy talking about how Stacks was not going to go down without a fight. And you'd be like, well, how did that all happen, right? The trio's all in the low ground. I'm not sure. Stacks worked his way up, though, had high ground for a little bit there himself. But unfortunately, on the receiving end of it, right, Vert not being too interested in giving it up for free either.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a back and forth there between Stacks and Vert, a fight for the solos on height, but you can only do so much as a solo player when there is a lot of other players in the lobby kind of gunning for you.
Yeah, unfortunately running out of mats as well, right? Just a difficult situation to be in. Again, that game 1 was just so unbelievably chaotic. I'm kind of curious to see how we all bounce back for game number 2, because yeah, I just expected this to go so differently.
I mean, I think that there's a lot of opportunities. We still have 4 more games here for these trios to kind of figure out how they want to play out the play-in, or not the play-ins, I'm sorry, the group stages. And honestly, this isn't too much of a surprise to see how different it is from the play-ins. We knew that the play-ins were going to be ultra aggressive, and obviously there's only really one chance for these teams to be able to make it into the Global Championships outside of that final little reboot we have towards the end for those 3 final teams we'll be figuring out next week. But for me, Vivid, I still think that there's plenty of opportunities for these teams to kind of change things up for games 2 through 5.
Oh yeah, 100%, right? And we're only playing 5 games today, and off of the first one right there, Oliver, OG, NPen, and Larson kind of keeping themselves in contention right there. 8 plays still close to the top of the leaderboard right there. Unfortunately, though, right, we kind of saw NPen on the receiving end of what will probably find its way into a Peterbot highlight reel, because it was absolutely insane. I feel sorry, NPen, but that was a little crazy. And we saw Oliver at one point was like, oh, let me back away from that one real quick. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the story for a lot of these trios, right? Just go ahead and keep yourselves in the contention, right? Top 5 on the consistency leaderboard. And of course, some of these top teams will actually steal those spots away. One thing that Zeke always likes to mention.
It's very possible. I'm hoping to see, and I love that you also kind of highlight that Peterbot is just wanting to make himself known in this lobby, right? Because I'm sure for everyone else, Kelly, they're probably thinking, why don't you guys just win game number 1? Just go ahead and go into finals. Let us play the game. Let us have fun, because they are just disrupting everyone else.
I mean, when you take into consideration we don't have any more Div 1 Cups, they're not going to be playing in groups 2 and 3, this might be the best opportunity they have to get some kind of scrims in, some practice before the Major 2 finals.
Game number 2 is all but here. Listen, pretty chaotic, right? High ground had some highlights, low ground had some highlights. More of that, please. I said I wanted 5 entertaining games, 1 down.
That's right. Well, it's okay. I won't panic as I often tend to, but it's okay. Game number 2 is ready. So once again, let's jump back on over to MDF.
Let's go, yeah. Game 2, let's rock it. Let's go.
Don't worry, Zeke. We got you. No need to panic just yet. It's game number 1. And Monster, that was just a little taste of what we're going to see throughout the day here today. If anybody thinks a competition like this with so much on the line is going to be easy, you got another thing coming.
Yeah, no, there wasn't a single moment in that round, at least from what we saw in the broadcast, where there was no action on the scene. From the beginning to the very end, the pace was set, and it was set pretty darn high. I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to play out. And then looking back at it, Aviv, Skittles, and Chimp, the most finals appearances when it comes down to the combination of appearances in the trio. So congrats to them. Let's go watch game number 2, though, now. And picking up where we left off, Jacob, game 2, right? The pace, the stage, it's truly been set. We know that Crime City already is going to be one of those places that we want to see what's going to end up happening here. NPen and crew got a little taste of what happens when you rotate a little too closely to Peterbot and company. So I'm super curious to see how this is going to ultimately play out. But in the end, though, 1 team down, more spots open up, and this starts to give the atmosphere a little bit more room. But look at the adjustments being made here from Cold, Peterbot, and Ritual. They end up teaming up, saying, you know what, let's stick as a trio here, just in case things go south.
Yeah, but they're not even contested. They chilling. Those chests are
fine,
theirs,
but
bro.
after that's where it gets tougher and tougher to pull off those tricks from underneath your sleeve. They're just going to go over to their regular drop, play things out like usual. Lone Wolf, a fight that we saw get kind of very, very prolonged out in game number 1. It's just one of those situations when you kind of split it up like they're doing here. There's a lot of barrels. There's a good amount of shields that you can possibly access. So you're not going to just straight 50-50. So you want to take all the time in the world to actually get yourself ready for a fight in this situation. But the longer it takes, the harder it's going to be to come back from the situation no matter who wins the actual fight.
Yeah, of all the drops, Lone Wolf is definitely one of my favorite to have landed at so far in the season. But for Jeff, Skater, and Higher, though, it's a matter of course, getting situated before things start to cook up. We already noticed that other
All right,
teams
chat.
are
Let's see how this gonna plan out, bro.
rotating here as well, so
Oh, so Peter Bite and them already got the mythic chest, and they're already on the train.
it's the goodies from the
Yeah,
tree.
they not playing this game.
Jacob, I mean, talk to me
Look, they already
about
stopped the
why
train and
this is
everything. Yeah, they came to play this game.
Cold and Ritual.
I mean, the biggest thing is the guaranteed mythic Sentinel Puff. I think might be the only weapon in the game that has that one-shot potential. Then you put it in Peterbot's hands, and you wonder why he is so dangerous in those situations. There's a ton of gold that they're able to get, and the medallion. This is going to grant that gold rush effect. Usually it goes into Peterbot's hands, so that way he can actually run wild. And this is why typically whether you're watching an open round, a division...
Damn it, he already got the medallion. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to tell you, they ain't playing this game. They're not trying to lose this one. Them boys locking in for real.
Medallion, of course, the prime pickup for the team. Continuing the action here, though. Hey, seems like people didn't learn their lesson in game number 1 here at the Mass Metal. This fight kicking off very quickly once again here. A little different, though. It seems like both teams have taken a little bit more time to situate their loadouts before deciding to clash with one another.
Yeah, I feel like it's another one of those lone wolf situations, but Mass Meadows is just a little bit bigger, so in theory you can split the loot. They have the whole underground as well, but it's everything that you're able to get, the heals, the gold. It really sets yourself up to visit those black markets multiple times to really replenish a lot of the resources that you may or may not have in that situation. But it's basically whoever gets there first can kind of lock down and force the team to fight them in a box fight just like this.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. Meanwhile, Higher Skater and Asian Jeff, the Lone Wolf layer, took a brief moment to see what's happening on the other side.
That was a good shot, though.
Fully collapsing now, and hey,
Ooh.
I set it up early for a reason. We knew there were going to be another team rotating in. The last game showed us that was the case, and this time they make their way here even faster. So Jeff Skater and Higher here have a lot to fight for the vault right now. And it's just not going to be given to them for free.
Nah, and you notice what they did, though. They made it much harder for anybody to try to fight them. They dropped all the way down. They boxed up. They claimed as much space as they can down below. And they started the vault. So even if they're not actively trying to take down the vault by hitting it extra, at least getting the thermite there, opening up slowly but surely, they can watch their back, but it's just a very, very limited amount of materials down below. So if the team above them knows they can just spray the covers, get them to waste the materials, that might be an entry point into a fight like this.
Yeah, notice they're scrapping this entire low ground for anything that they can get, just to go ahead and give them that little edge.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. It's smart to actually take over that safe while they fight up top. That's smart.
This is where things started to devolve for the other team. Mokata there falling pretty quickly to the hands of Asian Jeff. Now it is just
Damn,
a fight for
that
the
is
vault here.
crazy, bro. There's like 3 teams trying to fight for this vault. That is wild.
Countered each other out and have spooked one another before the fight actually began.
It's a blessing for that solo, though. Because instead of them being able to chase him down, Skater, Higher, and Jeff had to go down below, get the vault. That other trio disengaged on out. So that's at least giving a chance to grab those reboot cards, get your teammates back into the game. Yes, you have a ton of work to do afterwards, but all you need is a chance at some points. As we switched on over towards Seaport, Braids, Visual, and Minish taking a whole different rotation this time around. They weren't able to get the 2 eliminations on Peterbot and Cold, which means at this point in the game compared to last, they are lacking some Storm Surge.
Look at this, a Minish Visuals, Braids rotating to the Seaport City now. The whole splash effect comes out as they see Salt playing a low ground here, out of position, and they tried to be quick to catch the full collapse there, but they didn't seem like they got enough, and now they're in a bit of a tough situation here as they have the low ground, but fully committing the kneecapper, allowing them to get that bit of high ground there, taking full advantage of the benefits of the speed and the extra height that you get from it. Look
Good
at this, that
tags.
team fully going for the high
Yeah, they're
ground
trying to key
position
this.
now. What do you think happens here after they get this damage? Is it time to disengage, move on?
Yeah, I think for Visual Braids in a minute, I think it's a moment to kind of disengage here. It may not come immediately out of the gates, but it's just too risky to continue to fight against that much of an elevation difference. You saw them trading shots. As soon as the one pushed up, the other one got weak, dropped down. As G-Money, Osid, and Bryce, I saw them in the feed getting busy. They were able to get one elimination. We tune in just in time to see the second one picked up. And this is a prime example of what we're talking about, the different vault fights. You're not able to win it. You're not able to loot it fast enough. The third parties come in, especially Bryce, G-Money, and Osid, uncontested at Hopeful Heights. They're going to waste no time getting what they need.
Oliver in a fight right now. Seems like they've lost N-Pen here. It's just Oliver and Larson right now. Larson playing the side angles, trying to fend off OK and Chimps here for Champs. Champs got most of the control, but do notice, seems like the Storm is inevitably going to start forcing this team to rotate here shortly.
One thing I almost want to like take note of here for a quick second, and you see Oliver and Larson in this fight, and you're wondering, how did they even get on this side of the map? But remember, Aviv, Skittles, and Chimp qualified to the finals, opened up Outlaws Oasis. Oliver, OG, Larson, and N-Pen were the ones that tried to take that open drop spot, but they find themselves in a peculiar situation, 2v3. Zone is now covering up, so even though it is a one tick, it at least puts them on the clock. I see only one splash of HP in Larson's inventory. Not sure what Oliver OG has, but they need to figure it out quick.
Definitely agree here. Splash is starting to come out now. That's going to give them that enhance.
Oh yeah, they're keying the shit out of him now. This team needs to help him. Hey, GG's. Yeah, there's nothing you can do right there, but they keyed him hard.
Is going to make all the difference when you have that gold splash effect. That gold rush effect is just so powerful in the right hands, and you know,
Yeah, but that was
unfortunately,
wild.
any pro player, as you can see.
What the hell?
Joji, this is very reminiscent of that last major. I remember Muzz's team taking a victory from here. Shining Span, this high ground position.
Talking about Muzz, I can't wait to watch them later.
Didn't have to rotate. I'm almost hoping we get a little bit of a replay.
That's actually gonna be one of the
Off of
most
Bridge
comp
lobby. Doesn't
games
necessarily have to
today, bro.
rotate into Prom, Donnie,
Cause you have
and Joji,
Clicks,
but it still gives them
Higgs,
an opportunity
Muzz,
to
you have like
overlook
all
a
those
lot
dudes
of
in
area,
one
a lot
game,
of
bro. That's
distance
gonna be
that they're able to
wild,
kinda
bro.
see. You see all the way
That's
north
gonna be
towards
wild.
Demon's
That's
Dojo,
Group
a lot
2.
of the teams you saw in game 1 having to rotate south this times around, and that's Tony's team, Creon and Noisy. That was one of the teams that we saw rotate north that they can possibly get Storm Surge on, and you see they might have that same idea. Donnie, Prom, both of them crouching, just trying to make sure to keep their positions hidden so they can maybe do a sneak attack if they rotate over.
Yes, it's very nicely set up, I would say. You know, the ambush is looking pretty good, and of course, Joji's got that information, right? He can download it, share it with his team here from the high ground. But those teams seem to have the senses that this might not be worth rotating on the outskirts. And Creo, Tony, Noisy, a couple tags get exchanged there, but it seems like they're going to be looking to get out. Meanwhile, Armored Truck in the hands of Bryce, Osid, and G-Money here.
I feel like it's very, very telling of how confident they were in the early game, because they were able to get the Armored Truck, which means they're able to get some extra heals that they can use to potentially third party. So even if they don't get eliminations, which they were able to pick up to entering the fight at the very beginning of Mass Metals, but even if they didn't, they were still able to kind of accumulate a large amount of Storm Surge. Now, no matter where the zone pulls, they have that armored vehicle, they have some extra cover, so that way they can almost rotate where they want to without using any materials, as they first set their eyes on that black market, though.
This reminds me way back in the day when the vehicles during that Stark season were in the game. Folks would box up their cars and use them to rotate and boost out with. Now the armored van kind of giving that same feel. A lot of opportunity open up.
How come they ain't showing Peter by now?
Bryce Osid and G-Monster, though,
Surprised about
pretty
that.
content with this positioning here. A little mile in, they find Jersey and Mattis team there. Things are going to slow down. Mississippi % and cash here in the tunnel. Looking for what seems to be a pickup of their own.
in my head. I'm like, please don't take the porta potty. Please don't. There's a whole team up above. And I'm pretty sure it's Edgy and Chance and Scare's team landing over towards Brutal. Maybe they went towards the south. It could be anybody at this point with how much rotation these teams were forced to make. But it is actually Brayify, Kaji's team. It's only 2 of those 3 members. You see Hazard in the distance. A little mountain nearby, but it's just that way they can cover more ground, Monster. They want to get as much Storm Surge as possible in these first couple of early.
They just right here got some good heals, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I'm bugging the whole Chuck Jug and everything.
Fight for Storm Surge, which we both know is very, very risky.
Yeah, same thing we saw at Shining Span, right? Joji with the ultimate height, and then the teammates kind of playing the outskirts there, looking for rotators. It's definitely the right move. Talk about team split. This is much different. Cold and Peterbot seem to be inching their way up towards Curve, Tyler, and Shadow. I'm not sure how they feel about it. They're like, yep, it's time for us to go. The zone's already moving. Team's
They're like, nah, he ain't fighting Peterbot. That dip. That's funny.
I would say this is definitely the right call here. But get that map, pay close attention. Team close on their heels. Creo, Noisy, and Tony back to the Seaport City here. Fight finally starting to evolve outwards. And they seem to have just waited around. Okay, so if it wasn't a Minish's trio, it's now Creo. So all these very much experienced teams seem to just be singling out Salt 3X and the rest of his trio, and they get finished up pretty quickly here at the Seaport City.
Yeah, Noisy them really taking that opportunity in stride. It was actually them 2 fighting. Smiley and his trio was able to take down Visuals, Braids, and a Minish. They crashed. They third party, proving to be a lot of success there as Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual find themselves at the edge of zone, box to box with Curve, Tyler, and Shadow. And it doesn't look like they're just trying to position safely and let the game pass them by. They're going to create the situation.
Yeah, you see, bro, like they're trying to like catch him from every angle.
Cold and Tyler continue to trade shots back.
Cause Cold's up top and Peterbot and Ritual are keen from the other side, bro. Yeah, that's gonna get crazy.
Shadow still has a couple splashes here to work with. They might need to start.
So you got a lot of mats.
Here to give them a little bit more of an advantage while they
Oh,
still
damn.
But the longer you wait, the more damage and pressure comes in, and another trio starting to add their take onto the matters here. So shots are coming.
Yeah, look, they're pinching him. Look, cause he's on the other side of that too.
I wonder if they're sensing the danger nearby. Doesn't matter how good you are. Anything can, of course, happen here. Look at this.
This is about to get bad.
Whoever disengages, I'm not sure they're going to be happy with this situation, but Smitty, Oracle, Sniper, they're just waiting for the perfect moment. They're probably waiting and watching the feed right now and waiting for at least a knock to go through and time it with the shots, and that's where they're going to try to crash. But Peterbot weak, Ritual, no shield. This would be the perfect time, especially since their opposition are just taking shots back and forth. Neither one of them from either one of these teams, and there goes the flank. Peterbot's going to be the one on the receiving end, and that is a huge loss for their trio. They weren't able to actually pick up the elimination just yet. A lot of chaos ensued. They're trying to backtrack, bunker down to their position before they finally find a way to get the elimination, which has been scooped.
Yeah, you know they wanted Peterbot. Yeah, they're like, yeah, let's get him out of here first.
All 3 trios seem to be in shambles.
Wait, all of a sudden Shadow's team turns onto Oracle, Smitty, and Sniper, and they end up finishing a couple of their players now too, so this is quickly falling and crumbling. Meanwhile, a team goes back into the storm. Was that Cold and Ritual? Did they matter to actually might have managed to get the reboot card and dip into the storm for the pickup? It all happened so quickly, and look, in the end, Shadow, Curve, and Tyler get bailed out there in a crazy turn of events. Yup, even Oracle's team deciding if they want to play Storm now and slow things down.
Uh-oh, they went back towards Foxy to try to get the reboots. A trade, Exhale goes down, but Cold gets fully cleaned up, and that puts a lot of pressure, I believe, on Ritual yet again. Even if he's still alive, that could have been a full wipe.
Yep, I saw 71 players.
Back-to-back games.
Oh, what is this? Oh, his teammates falling now. My gosh.
It's not too bad. That's not too bad. It's not very, very dangerous in terms of storm damage. If they get the reboot, as long as they have HP, but I'm realizing his loadout as we speak, there's almost no chance he's going to be able to turn around, get the reboot cards, and get his teammates back, at least not at Foxy Floodgates. And even now, he's on the clock, 10 seconds left. The storm is now moving, Monster. I fear for him.
Ooh, yo, Ritual came in clutch again, bro. Yo, Ritual is a W support player, bro. swear, Ritual is such a good support player, bro.
Their reboot card, but take a look at this. They are 430 damage below. There's no way that's accurate, right?
No, it's accurate. They got rebooted. All their damage is gone. All their damage. Ritual's damage is going to be the only one that really counts. In Zone 5, I'm not sure with Peterbot and Cold really being the front runner. So this is going to be a tall task for a team like this. I'm not going to say it's impossible because it's Peterbot, it's Cold, it's Ritual. But they're immediately going to have to start getting in engages to turn that number sideways.
You just got to think about it. If you were betting that Ritual will be picking up both Cold and Peterbot more than once in the weekend today, well, there you go.
Darn
just
tell you,
happens so very
that boy
rarely
is a
occurs
W
here.
support
Things
player.
are just playing out so differently, I think, than
That boy be
most
locked
would
in.
imagine. For a Group 1 setting, right, you'd expect a team like Peterbot to just keep that momentum. You saw their Divisional Cup performances all in all. They were basically first place for a full month run. Either way, Jacob, this is keeping us, if nothing else, very much entertained.
It's like that any given Sunday. This is exactly why we play it out. You know, everybody has their favorites, their biases towards players, towards trios, but this is exactly why I always talk about opportunities, chances, being able to take advantage. And this isn't just Storm Surge. This is active Storm Surge. Ritual is not going to go down, Monster. He is going to get fully eliminated. So that is going to be tough because now Cold has to get the reboot. Active Surge. They might not even make it out of zone as a full trio anymore. That chance has been done and gone because they are just out of almost everything they need to survive.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, literally running
That
out of
Storm Surge
options at
is
this point.
trash.
That could be a huge saving grace, to say the least. I'm wondering if Cole just drops Peterbot these heals and just lets that play out. We'll see. Ultimately, though, 600 below and what seems to be miles away.
Yeah, they
from
is
the
struggling,
safe
but
zone. The
yeah, they
damage
far as
just
hell
so
from zone.
quickly, though. They were able to
Holy.
fully heal off before, of course, taking the launch pad here, and this is really starting to come together.
Yeah, but they got it. I don't know if they gonna win, but they got it. They can definitely make it.
I was gonna say, you think about end game,
And they have
implications,
mad heals, so they
Storm
chilling.
Sickness, right? Like there's just a lot of bad starting to come together right now.
This would, I was about to say, would this be like a historic moment for Peterbot Cold, or is this business as usual? I'm over here asking the chat right now, if you guys are watching, do they make it out alive? Do we see Peterbot and Cold in the end game?
Yep.
You're seeing those struggles or around the entirety of the lobby. Prom, Donnie, Joji, barely 6 above the damage threshold, which at least it's above, giving them a chance to really accumulate more damage, but it's not a sweet spot to be in.
Oh, here they come from the Storm, finally to the safety, and the Surge just gets them before they could get a heal off. Seconds away from potentially having
Damn.
a
Hey, like I said, they was gonna make it.
glimmer of hope.
Damn, that's not good,
It's
bro.
not going to be enough. Too much time spent in the air and in the storm, unfortunately. So, is what it is, though. Can't count them out. They had a great game 1, right? 5 games here. You can only really afford to drop about 2 if you want to be in the kind of consistency range. However, pressure is...
Hey, remember, y'all, you only really gotta win one.
for chance.
You win one, you guaranteed it.
Seem to be
finals,
looking
for
pretty
real,
good
for real.
them right now, comparatively. As they now have a full, not only position here in the storm, but max material.
You get 1,000 points when you win, so if they win, even one, chill.
For the most part, a good spot to be in, other than Storm Surge, but you're seeing it really kind of affect and dictate a lot of the lobby in a situation like this. 116 below is going to be Ozone, Golden, and Void. But it's a team that I know, when it comes to consistency, know how to put themselves in the right situations. Game 1 wasn't necessarily the best example of that. But with now the pressure on, really backs up against the wall when it comes to Storm Surge. They're really going to have to go. Joji, Donnie, Prom, they're feeling the same thing, but they're in a better spot. 61 above and counting, especially now that they get the down onto Muss. They lose Donnie in the mix. A sacrifice, collateral damage as it breaks down to a 2v2 outside of the zone as well. So Joji realizes that and he's immediately trying to beeline it and find some cover for him in Prom.
Just instant regret there, going blow for blow on the outside of the zone. Wow, it's moving this fast. It's going to cause all that damage, all that risk to really start to compound here. Not looking good right now for Joji and Prom, but hey, they have a moment now to go ahead and get situated here, but look at the zone pull. It's going all the more further for them now, so no breaks here in the wild. They're going to have to fight their way out of this position they've walked themselves into. Meanwhile, Death stacks and encrypted. Very much close to the new storm line here.
Yeah, but they're running low on heals.
Really digest
That dude only
the
has a 50 on a
landscape.
chug
There
jug.
is no one confidently flexing for any type of high ground position just yet. Seems like the lobby kind of waiting for an opportunity here.
Yeah, I think in this next couple of zones, but you're seeing a lot of the players that we're looking at missing a lot of materials, even down on Surge, but a quick turnaround. They're able to
That Storm Surge is a pain, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
damage threshold and a far pull on top of that. The odds are looking like they're stacking against them as Storm Surge damage every seconds. 25 HP or shield gets taken down, and they're not even a single step closer to accumulating damage since the zone is pulling further and further away. The time is now ticking, but they're getting the shots that they need. I do believe that is going to be Ozone being the front runner. He's the first to rotate. He's the first to try to get all that damage, and so far it's working out to perfection. Void tries to pounce onto one. 19 damage is all they need, and as he turns and burns another shield down. That's Higher, who went ahead and took the challenge.
Damn.
He's able to get the down on the Void back.
But the Storm does the rest. It's all up to Golden and Ozone now, who have found themselves kind of split apart from one another. And look, just flirting with the edge of the Storm there, but greeted with the shotgun shot, sent back to the lobby for sure there to the likes. But here it is, Ozone now. The zone's gonna start.
That Storm
to pull
Surge
back
damaging,
here.
no fucking joke, bro.
A priority position, and we are in the money for placement points, right? So top 14 now. Things are gonna start to add up for them. All he has to do is just basically hold on. Meanwhile, Edgy, Scare, and Chance. Look at this spot here on the low ground. The vets that have been here time and time again, playing it very well. No pressure from the likes of a Peterbot or a Cold and Ritual in this lobby. So this is looking much more calm here on the low ground at the moment.
Especially at the front side of the zone. It's Skater, Higher. They found a fire pit. They're going to use anything that they
stoke
can,
it.
and even stoking
Yeah.
the flame. They want that HP quick. They know the zone is coming, and they're 163 above the damage threshold. This game after game, this is the second time. Taki, Ishao, and Vert Monster, they're the ones on the high ground. I'm just hoping they've been able to learn from their mistakes of game one and actually pull off this VR.
I absolutely love this. Watching a team just deliberately say, hey, we're going to be the squad that's going to go for high ground. Notice Zone 8, all that timid positioning. No one wanted to build up. No one wanted to commit, but they say high risk, high reward, and that's what Taki and crew are looking to put together right now. On the low ground, though, NG, Scare, and Chance looking for a refresher here on the mid-ground layers. If they get the mats that they deserve, I mean, that is going to be the effect that's going to cascade them on up. Taki gets a refresh in the...
Yeah, this is where it's gonna get hectic now.
It's just this low ground spot here. Edgy, Scare, and Chance are playing this masterfully right now.
They're just going ahead and tarping. Edgy, the tarper, the experienced, the IGL, trying to lead him to the promised end. Noisy, Creon, Tony, they're on the side. They're not yet looking up, but they're scouting at the bare minimum, trying to see, is this an opportunity for us to go? They do have the gold splash effect. They can run as Osid. He's in a terrorizing position, getting shot from all angles, but figures out a way to reunite with Bryce, but that's only one teammate. They're stuck as a duo in a world full of trios.
Elimination after elimination, everything happening here. Tony,
damn.
Noisy, and Korea, we're thinking about high ground, but it seems
That
like
boy just took
card
major
is pulled
damage,
off
and he
its
has no
here
time
now
to
as
heal for
Noisy
real.
falls there, and Tony's gonna play the Chug Jug splash all the way. The Chug Jug in the storm, but no, doesn't want to stick around for too long. Meanwhile, Taki, Vert, and Ishu working their way down, constantly pressuring these other layers, forcing the sandwich to continue to collapse here. But what is happening? Ozone is still holding on somehow. Talk about
Hey,
clutching
Ozone
up
putting in
points
work
here
for his
the
team
trio.
though. He putting in mad placement right now.
Cash, they went for it. Percent went up. Cash went down, though. They were forced to split up, but they did the damage. They separated Taki and Ishu. Vert was sent down below, but he's still managing to stay alive as well. They've
Need a
accepted the
refresh.
challenge, and they've succeeded. They have 6 eliminations, but you're right, Vert. They need a refresh, and this is the perfect moment for them to drop down while everybody on the low ground is in shambles. There's so much chaos going down below, and nobody's feeling confident.
Hey, anything can happen right here with no materials on the board. This is as risky as it gets now. 4 teams remaining here. Make that 3. The cards, the tower is crumbling. Vert gets deleted there. A lot of damage taken out. So does Taki. And the pressure is too much to take. But Taki hits the shot that matters. And then follows up. What a game for the high ground team of Vert.
That was crazy. And he took like 60 or 70 fall damage. Whoa.
He took fall damage. He took a shot, but he was able to get that first knock. Survived.
All right, bro. Good aim will always prevail, bro. Good stuff. GG's.
This is redemption, Monster. I said in Major 1, they were so close. Same position, high ground, but they lost it. They missed out on FNCS finals. This time around, they've not only learned from their mistakes, they came out with a vengeance and they secured a huge victory royale and booked their ticket to the Major 2 finals. This is a huge moment for them, and this is a huge moment for their entire community, but there's still a lot of action to break down from game number 2. Zeke, I need your help. What do you got for us?
Bro, there's no way. There's no way in that. Just think for a moment. Just put yourself in those shoes. You're like on high ground. Everything is like, you know, it's just you and the other trio. Everything's fine. You get chopped. You pull out your blueprints. You're like, well, this is it. And you pull out your shotgun. And you just send out a 99 to immediately make it a 3v2. Taki, Isho, and Vert, we saw them on high ground game number 1. We saw them again on high ground in game number 2.
I ain't gonna lie, he did his thing though. That boy definitely clutched up. 100% clutched up right there to get that victory royale.
Crazy shot that was.
Cause that fall damage was crazy, bro.
If you're gonna fail the first time,
I don't know if he's just good or those other dudes just sold, bro. I don't know, bro. That was intense, though. Either way, he definitely clutched up.
And you know, this is something that from Vert, who is actually the second player here with the second most FNCS finals to team up with Isho and Taki, who are
look at his health.
players in their own
Wow.
right. I love to
So he
see
took like
all
40,
come
50
to
damage and then
fruition
took a
for them
whole
to make
pump.
their way into the Major 2 finals.
Crazy.
I mean, what a way to show off consistency and the ability to win at the same time, right? I mean, game number 1, you get second place. Game number 2, you follow that one up with the victory royale at the end there. And like Jacob mentioned, like Zeke was mentioning, right, that point when you kind of drop in, you're like, oh, listen, sorry, we're playing Fortnite, I can build a little bit. Not if you have no materials, but having the aim to kind of back up a situation like that. Incredible stuff from the trio.
And to just kind of hold Shadow, Tyler, and Curve, just hold them off, right? Hey, you guys want that spot? It's going to be ours. Wow, so much more to talk about. First, we will go to a break. When we return, there's so many little things we must discuss. So stay tuned. We'll see you after this.
Three minutes to the game 3, chat. I'm looking forward to this, bro. And it's so crazy though, bro, because Peterbot and them, bro, they was so locked in ahead, like the best loot, bro. Like they had medallions and all, bro, and still messed up, bro. Damn. Hey, but that's what I'm trying to tell you, bro. The new meta of Fortnite is crazy. The way that people depend so heavily on their monitors and their screens, bro, with the indication of footsteps, that, bro, you can lurk and hide so easily now. So that's why they had that easy sneak up on, or that easy lurk up on Peterbot.
just vibing to that song. Pretty good stuff. Man, Isho, Taki, Vert. Taki, that was disgusting, brother. I don't even know. Again, if you missed what just happened, go back and rewatch it. I'm sure, go follow them on socials, see if they post the clip themselves. But to get a victory royale again, just gotta go back and watch that. The slide, the 99, the 45, the 108 to get themselves a victory royale. Crazy stuff. Okay, we have a lot to talk about. Okay, many things transpired that game, and my favorite thing we'll save for last. What did you guys first off think of game number 2?
I thought it was exciting. I saw already some adaptions from players. Obviously,
Yeah.
we had a little issue with the Dilbit server room over there, and it seemed like there might be like some contestation for Peterbot's trio, but they were able, all three of them, able to land in that server room by themselves. Then go
Hello?
to the
Hi,
tree,
Tox.
which seemed
What's up, man?
exactly
How's your
like
day
the
going?
setup that they wanted Vivid, but
Hope I said your name right.
didn't exactly go the way that they thought it would.
Yeah, I mean, troublesome. Couple of early games for that trio as it currently stands. But one thing that I want to point out that some similarities between game number 1 and game number 2 is that the end games in particular, they're kind of ending early, right? These kind of like 3v3s, 3v2s are kind of happening, and it's obviously always going to be between like a low ground and a high ground team. But so far, they've kind of been, really good fights. And we talk about the shots from Taki, but a trio that we gotta kind of point out there is gonna be Shadows.
I'm
here.
French, bro. I don't
Second
understand.
place right there.
Oh,
You can see
okay.
just a little bit short at the end there. A second place in this format is still very, very good.
Yeah, Shadow, Curve, and Tyler had exactly.
Well, you
the
speak
same
pretty
thing
good
right
English.
there, and they ended off 13th place after game number 1, so be able to make it all the way to the very end in second place. And this is kind of where we see them a lot. We saw them here also in Major 1, where they stick to the low ground. They're able to make it to the end game, but they just have a struggle clutching out that final fight. But of course, when you have Taki here doing things that he's doing, I don't think there's much of a chance to get a victory royale against that. But with that game, we do see them jump up 8 placements.
You speak English a little bit? Okay. I'm gonna use Google Translate to talk to you. One sec. You said you're French, right?
Overall leaderboard that
One
we
sec.
are looking for these teams to make it into the Major 2 finals.
That's right. We'll have 5 victory royales, they auto-qualify, and then ending basically in the top 5, which kind of looks like the top 10, is also going to earn a spot. My gosh. Yeah, I just love seeing them. And again, it's like, they're so close once more, but hey, now we don't have to deal with Taki and Esho and Vert on height. So maybe, the next game, we can go ahead and win that one. But overall, I love to see all of that stuff that happened. Okay,
I don't know. I don't speak French, so that might be wrong, but you'll get the point.
So, there was a situation in which Peterbot and his trio decide, actually, we're going to fight Shadow, Tyler, and Curve for a long time, and we're going to make a lot of noise while we're doing it. And while that's happening, Oracle, Smitty, and Sniper crouch walk up these guys, okay?
Yep,
guys,
that's what I was just telling y'all, bro.
30 seconds of crouch
That creep up, we're lurking
It is
on
a
them.
common theme that we see with Peterbot's trio, how aggressive they are, that they also are incredibly vulnerable. When they fight, they of course love to do this kind of pincer maneuver, but by that happening, Peterbot often ends up alone on his own side. And when these fights go on a lot longer than they would expect it to, that does give third-party opportunities, and that is exactly what we saw right here. I don't think anyone would have predicted 3 players dropping in onto you as a solo. So even though Peterbot in his own right is a god in Fortnite, there's only so much you can do, Vivid, when 3 players drop on you, unbeknownst to you.
I mean, a tough go at it, right? Just all of a sudden a 3v3 that you're kind of feeling confident in quickly turns into a 6v3. I mean, the recovery attempt was there, though. I mean, Ritual, again, in this game, had to do it in game number 1. Had to get that double reboot off as well. Went all the way out in the Storm, and we kind of watched how Storm Surge was pretty much the demise of the trio as a whole. I mean, they just fell so far behind in terms of damage being dealt that they could not ever recover. But yeah, I mean, 2 definitely not so Peterbot Ritual cold-ass games over the course of the first 2 games so far.
Hey, shout out to everybody coming through on Twitch and on YouTube, man. Appreciate all the love and support, y'all.
That might be the first time we've seen Peterbot be eliminated to Storm Surge.
Yeah, weird.
Just a major go saw him first take, just damage to Surge. To full on be eliminated is crazy. All that to say, let's make sure we box up when we take these fights. Let's just not leave open spaces that we can just be jumped on. Okay, all right, just everyone, all right, we all in agreement. Okay, with that being said, we only have 3 games left to go. We need a Victory Royale or to end in the top 5. With that being said, let's jump back into the action with Jacob PR and Monster D-Face.
Yeah, I agree with Zeke there. A little crack in the armor was found of Peterbot in trio, and all of a sudden, boom, Jacob. It all came falling there for a moment, and again, credit to Ritual for trying. What a game.
Yeah.
Definitely not what we expected, though.
Yeah, I don't think it's what they're expecting, but I know I saw Peterbot in the solo finals in his last game to win first place. Also, he didn't get aggressive. He stayed in a box on the slow side of zone all game long. I'm not saying we're going to see slower gameplay out of them. But
All right, let's go, y'all.
needs to change.
Get into game 3.
Ready for game 3. Let's get into it.
Okay, Jacob, game 3 is here. I mean, we already saw what happened with Crime City. They decided to leave it to go ahead and pair up with one another after that. Again, randomness that happened in game 1 with this small contest from Visuals and crew. What do you think is going to happen here now?
Yeah, I think it's not going to be the same contest, especially with Visual Braids and Aminish going down relatively earlier than we'd hope in that last game. So I think for them, they're going to do their same strategy, get the train, Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual, Visual Braids, Aminish. They're going to loot up their Foxy Floodgates. And just like we were talking about...
All right, so there goes Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold. So they keep you into the same POI, bro, because they got guaranteed chests. So let's go. Let's see if they can lock in this game, y'all. Cause they done lost 2 times, man. Let's see if we can lock them in.
Somebody just gets it uncontested.
Yeah, it's definitely a big...
They've been struggling these last 2 matches, but they gotta. They're getting good kills and decent placement, but they need to lock it in, bro.
Were the team that seemed to be pretty much hell-bent on going for high ground in zone number 9. They made the play for it twice, and clearly it ends up paying off. So now that that is kind of evolving here, this endgame is going to be a very interesting one. But Lone Wolf back here, business as usual, a lot of fights, a lot of action. Asian Jeff and Higher managed to, of course, secure that Volt, get that Thermite, and start that nice and early.
Ooh, oh man, Jeff out early, bro. Crazy.
Right here going down right now. Moncada catching his revenge as he was the first to fall.
Facts, he did get his revenge.
He's kind of all here, but
They got it right back.
there, Jacob, and doesn't seem like this trio's gonna make it out alive.
Yeah, he doesn't hit the full edit. Basically gets himself stuck. Iron takes a big shot, forced to back up along with Skater. A little bit bait and switch coming out, but they want to take things slow because they have a 2v1. And that's why you've seen them sitting box to box, basically hip to hip.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. This is crazy. This is way more crazy than the EU.
Down in the stairs. Finally, it's gonna get
Woo!
for it, and that is what's gonna do him in. He tried to be the hero to save his teammates, but it's Skater. I just read him just 2 steps ahead.
Yeah,
That was
pretty
a nice shot and a quick edit. That was good. I ain't even gonna lie, that was good.
But no, doesn't end up working out. All right, a little action here over at
By the way, shout out to everybody coming through, showing love on the Twitch and the YouTube side, man. Make sure you guys follow or subscribe at your side your own. Make sure you like up, you know what I'm saying, if you're enjoying the content. Appreciate y'all sliding through, showing that love, man.
Extra damage to go ahead and start this one off, so not too bad.
And that's very, very important if you're landing over at Shogun Solo 2 because it's so isolated from the rest of the entire map that it's very, very hard to loot up and get Storm Surge early on in the game. So being contested might be a blessing, but you're seeing the effects of a lot of these early games fight. And I think you kind of hit the buzzer in game number 1, Monster, the slower pace to start off the tournament, but already first zone, 78 players. I feel like this is the least amount of players alive in a lobby so far today.
I agree. I mean, listen, this is really starting to heat up now. You can see the hand wraps are off here. This is all knuckle to knuckle right now. It's going down here. Omizi, K, and Cyclops, the team elimination, really setting themselves up for success. We already had an end game finish here at the Magic Mosses. Unlikely that that goes the same way, but wait a second here. Matt and V kind of kicking things off for a second here with Jason Drizzy trying to play a bit aggressive here as they know this team's coming off the heels of a fight, but we're getting pushed right into the rest of this trio, so...
Hey, this dude's playing mad aggressive. He needs to slow it down. He's literally by himself.
makes me wonder, do they even know they're there? Because Tony
All it
Blaze
takes
and
is one
Zerg
good
are
shot, you
just
dead, bro.
hiding at the black market, baiting it because they know how many teams actually use this location to kind of re-up or just get resources in general. And just like we've seen some of those fights in game number 1, they're going to sneak around, wait for a lot of the damage to pop off, possibly a knock in the feed, and that's when they're going to go ahead and use that as a green light to go. But until then, they're just going to sneak their way around and wait for that perfect time to go.
Easy K and Cyclops just again holding it down right now, but look at the material count, Jacob. He's starting to run low, even though they're again coming off the heels of the Siphon and all that extra pickup. So maybe the read is good from the other side, but whoa! The lurking trio comes in and tries to attack, and it seems like they manage to defend themselves somehow, even against that.
They really
I
turned
told you, bro.
Running out. He's like, I need to stay alive. He doesn't necessarily have the reboot cards.
Told you, just takes one good shot for you to lose, bro.
These teams actually stay around Magic Mosses, and there's already a third trio, a fourth in this situation, possibly even a fifth, rotating on over. And since they heard a lot of that noise, they're basing on over, and as soon as they hit a certain point, they're crouching just like the rest of them. That's Shadow, that's Curve, that's Tyler, and that's a big team to fight this early in the game.
Definitely. I mean, all of these teams seem to almost be taking a little too much action, right? Too early. 69 players alive right now. It's only Zone 2. Things are just getting started here. Jacob, I mean, what's your take on the speed of which this lobby is starting to develop here? I mean, is this going to make things more difficult later for the teams that haven't gotten active? I mean, I'm not even sure at this point.
Yeah, for those teams that are not even necessarily below, as NPen picks up a big elimination on the Polka. That's a third party coming in from a team that already was contested at that spot. But I think that's just going to up the higher values of Storm Surge. So if you're kind of at the bottom but still above the threshold, if you're below the threshold, that's where it's going to be exponentially harder for you, zone after zone after zone, to get above that threshold and really dictate your own gameplay. And this is still only Zone 2 out of 12. So getting that damage very, very early on, whether you fight it out for the straight elimination or not, is crucial.
Absolutely. Well, NPen, Oliver, and of course Larson right now doing very well, sticking to their strategy, playing the outskirts here, widely sweeping around the map. Let's get back on over to Creon here. He's trying to get to that reboot card. Cyclops and K have not left. They've kind of
Bruh,
based
these
down
dudes
in
are
this
creeping
general
like crazy.
area here, but I do believe the card was more closer to the lodge, so
Second time in a
let's see if
row?
Creon can
Okay.
pick it up.
So these dudes are actually decent, okay.
I can almost imagine they're waiting around.
Well, you guys know what I mean. Obviously, they're decent because they're playing majors, but I'm just saying.
They haven't really had to move far because of how many eliminations, how much loot was there. And then just a few steps away south of them is going to be the black market, where if they do have enough gold, they can kind of re-up any resources that they need, if anything. But for now, Creon's just going to have to probably use the entirety of the time on that reboot cards to make sure that nobody is floating around, instead of just trying to beeline his way into his ultimate demise.
Yeah, he undoubtedly knows this team's still here. Just trying to catch
But it
up
makes
with
sense why he's doing it, though. He's the last one of his team, so.
There it is. Gets a little close to this team. Into the base. All right. So does seem like Cyclops, Omizi, and K are going to be looking to rotate out here. So Creon should be able to pick up this card here in a couple moments. Wait, they come back.
Ooh. Peter by skiing, let's go. Action.
Side of the map. You're seeing Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold just trying to really up their surge game this time around. You're seeing
There goes Peterbot, yo. Let's see what happens. See what the squad do.
Two games that they've had so far, even though game one was a 7th place with double-digit eliminations. And now they're going.
Hey, but he's fighting Sice, though, so this should be good, bro. These guys are experienced, and Peterbot's just goaded, so let's see what happens. It should be a good fight. Woo!
Joe's gonna be the first one down. Cold makes the first play and gets the first elimination of the round.
Really showing you how good Cold is. Cold was holding his own up against Cease, backs off Cease, finds the side angle, takes down Joe before he can even react, and really just being the playmaker.
Damn, they just full keyed and won. GG's.
And I like
That was a
I
good
like
fight
the
right there,
strategy
though.
adjustment. They're saying, hey, you know what? Let's stay inside the storm. Right? Let's not chase a team into the edge of zone where other teams are going to be rotating. Instead, let's take something a little more isolated here at the Canyon Crossing. It seems like it works out for them very well. And all right, that's what they needed. They needed the fight. They needed the damage. They have that now. Let's see if they can secure positioning. Back on over to Creon, who is in a bit of a scramble here. I'd have to assume he didn't get the card if he's still walking around, although he's been spotted out.
I want to think maybe one. Maybe one. He does
Maybe
have
one.
the throwable launch pad. But obviously, we know in this situation, especially with how good players have been, that's just almost asking to kind of get targeted out of the sky. So he has to kind of run it on foot. No other mobility. But luckily, that team isn't going to go after him. And I do like it. Even if he has one reboot card, get one teammate back. Just take it step by step. You don't have to go all in this one moment, especially with 23 total teams still left alive.
A lot of sneaking around going on in today's.
I'm trying to tell you.
I would
Look
play.
at this. Look at this.
I just, hey, bro, this stream alone just proves that NA or North American players,
Oh,
right,
one comes up
are
to
the
hit.
players that play the most
It
fucking
gets
weird,
shut
bro.
down immediately. You love to see it. Well, Backy, Exhale, and Ray, they're pretty happy about that.
Circa have it just like, what just happened?
Yep.
We just ran past. Why didn't you follow us? But now they're deep in the zone. And Cirque only has one splash, so really the HP really has to be on Havoc. Otherwise, they're going to have to disengage and revisit the opportunity at this reboot card later. Especially since that full team is kind of already hunkered down there. And there's another solo in Mass Meadows just wandering around somewhere.
In my mind, I'm thinking of the team comms. Who are they blaming right now for this decision? Because one different way for some reason or another. So clearly something went wrong there after the med miss was thrown down. Havoc now forced out in the opposite direction. Okay, yeah, this is all just it's just disintegrating before them here. Like to play a little map knowledge here to go in and slide on out through the sewers. Osid, G-Monster, Bryce on the move right now. Big tags there. The distance.
You know, I question the other two for Bryce and G-Money, but you can see they're really relying on the gold splashes as a primary source of their rotation. You don't see the kneecapper. You don't see the ice gauntlets on anybody other than Bryce. So, and he's the one with the splashes, so he can't even rotate too far ahead, just in case his two teammates do need that extra movement and boost. And as they make their way towards the top of the mountain, they thought would be a good position. The zone just pulls a trick. Rotates all the way towards the north, towards that Magic Mosses area, maybe even towards Flooded Frogs, where we saw a lot of those contested fights break out early on in this game.
Still so satisfying watching the Gold Rush effect in Team's Farm. But okay, G-Monster, Bryce, and Osid secure this launch pad here. Just scouting around before, of course, taking it, making sure they're capped off for the flight ahead. That'll make all the difference if a team decides to focus them up. They're flying right over, and you saw the marker come out, so they actually spotted that trio underneath them.
I know exactly where they're at. And it kind of gives them options, too. They can rotate in front, block them off in zone right when they're on the edge. They can surprise attack while in zone. But you're seeing the edge of it overall in the port zone is going to be at the edge of Whiffy Wharf. So it is going to pull primarily all the way towards the west, mostly towards the north as well. And they're initially just going to box up, but that Stacks by himself. You see how much ground they're trying to cover as a team, because if you're one of the teams that lands over there originally, most of the teams are going to rotate towards the east, towards the south, if the zone does pull in that direction. So since they're one of the teams that made that decision to stay on this side of the map, they have priority position.
Yeah, I like this spot right here. This is starting to come together for Golden, Ozone, and Void here. Look, they're trying to wait this out. G-Monster looking for the side angle, so they're actually content with how, I guess, isolated this fight is and the confidence from G-Monster right here. But no, he gets coned up. Has to back out for a second there. Almost drops the ball for his trio. Quickly recovers, though. And notice how they're playing this. G-Monster kind of being that X factor, right? Playing the side angles.
Yeah, they playing those angles pretty good, but they gotta get out of that storm soon, bro. That shit's gonna start ticking.
The same box, and this is where they got to make that decision. As G Money is already kind of preemptively pre-tarping in front to try to cut off some angles, but the zone pulling further and further away. Just outside of Brutal Boxcars, they're going to be one of the first teams out of these two to try to rotate out, get in position, because they know even though that team's there, they have to worry about them. They don't know how many other teams have already beat them on their rotation because of how long they were actually in zone just to get to this point.
That's right. And the more you shoot, the more attention you attract. Creon seems like he has not been able to pick up his team, and even if he did, they're not in the game at the moment. He's still lingering around the Magic Mosses, right? At this point, he can't even make a break anywhere new.
But this dude Creon has been solo the whole game.
And this is
That boy's been creeping the whole time, bro.
Situation to be in by any means, but around to start this game, second.
Yeah, look, Peter and them are really trying to lock in now. Yeah, look, they got major high ground, they got medallions, double mythics, chug. Oh my god, yeah, bro, they can't lose this, bro.
But if he can at least manage a top 10, a top 12 situation, that'll at least keep the points going forward, and they can stay on top of that top 5 consistency leaderboard. It's Peterbot, Cold, Ritual, straight to the island. One medallion, I feel like, is just not enough for a team like this. They're going to be able to capture both of the medallions in this game. And that little bit of bubble shield, when you use the heals, isn't necessarily a massive game changer, but in those tight situations, just being able to pop it, even though you may not necessarily use the overall shield, that kind of gives you a little bit of extra cover in the end game.
I mean, think about it. It also affects the splashes, right? So, Super Shield Medallion, definitely, it's good, right? It gives you more options in the likes or the hands of a team like Ritual, Cold, and Peterbot is going to go a long way. And Pen Oliver and Larson get the first update, though, of the threshold here. They're very much above it. G-Monster, Bryce, and Osid are as well. But look at this. They're on the hunt here, right outside of the Magic Mosses. They seem to have spotted Creon, who was trying to make a move, rotating. And he didn't have very far to go. Look at where they were, but they caught him out there. And now the pressure's on here. This is pretty greedy of them if they're fully chasing for the elimination, but no. Seems like they're just waiting around.
It's almost seemed like a situation. Let's see what's left over underneath, inside of the black market. How much gold do we have? Because you're able to get the splashes outside of there as well, which we know the gold splashes are a huge resource for anybody's game. Creon, on the other hand, 242 above the damage threshold, which is a blessing for him considering his current situation here as a solo. But I don't think, because those players were camping the cards for so long, I don't think there's any chance for Creon to get his teammates back. For the rest of this game, it's him and him only.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you could kiss that plan goodbye. That one's not happening. At this point, hold on for top 17. It's likely what is going through his mind here. Not looking good, though, for Champ 7, QK, and Cole. When we tuned in, I think Champs was alive. Seems like he's down. That dissolved pretty quickly. And they just have a short way to go for the new zone here. And, there's their teammates' loot.
And this is a big game for a good chunk of the lobby. This is game 3. This is literally the middle of today's group stages, and where you're at on the leaderboard after this game truly dictates. If you're at the bottom half of the leaderboard, minimal points up until this point, you're almost putting that situation of I have to win a game so I don't have to go to the last chance qualifier. It's QK Cole, we're seeing how they managed to even get in this position. Even with a knock, they quickly cleaned it up, and he's still not going down fight after fight. As Plasmafy here, even though it's him and Vedits as a duo, they're ready to take on the full trio. 274 below the damage threshold. Sometimes it's out of your hands.
Yeah, they look like they're making this pretty personal right now. They need the surge. They need the damage. They're too far below it to be complacent.
Ooh, damn, that was good. That was a good push right there. I ain't gonna lie.
Pretty happy about that pickup there. They have the damage they needed coming into this fight, but that's just going to give them all the cushion that they know and need now, not to worry, moving forwards.
$529 right now, just at the edge. They just don't want to put themselves in a spot to get focused too much as they clean up that last elimination on the Vedits. getting whatever loot that they can. You see the med mist smoke going down, but they get a far pull across the entirety of the lobby. I honestly think they are one of the farthest teams that has to rotate through this next zone. Luckily for them, though, Monster 610 above the damage threshold, so they have a little bit of flexibility.
I'm thinking at this point, do you go towards the lair, cut south? They're going to go ahead and try to go south here, a little bit more of a different play, but take a look at the highlights really quickly from Salt's perspective. Gets the great angle here, waits on the outskirts, plays the med miss, knows Vedits needs a piece of it, and then takes him out. Very smooth elimination there. And look at that. The team that was trailing them decides, hey, look,
so
we
Peterbird and
don't
them are
take
still
two.
up. They're still
They
doing
don't
their
take
thing.
the fight necessarily. They all decide to go ahead and move in. This is the better decision. You know, sometimes that's a rarity, right? Some players don't know how to rotate. Let's be honest.
So you're saying I don't have to shoot the guy in front of me on this far pull rotation?
Not
Okay.
every time.
We learn something new every day, and a little bit of a slower game coming out of Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold. I think they're realizing what's really at stake. They got those first 3 early eliminations. You see it's helped tenfold because now they're 1,000 above the damage threshold, and now they just simply have to focusing to make it from one zone to the next towards this end game. But you're seeing Peterbot look above, trying to spot out those opportunities. That's Curve, Shadow, and Tyler. They're getting tagged up by a whole nother trio, and this is their green light. They're trying to pounce, separate at least one of them from the rest of the team, but the shots come firing back. 50 damage off of both Ritual and Peterbot, and that's sure to slow him down.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Game 1 was pretty good. Look at their points. They picked up a lot of points. I mean, a huge effort in Game 1. Game 2 is kind of a setback, so it almost balances out their Game 1 pop-off, if you will. So they really do need to take the lead here by getting another big end game, and I don't blame them for slowing down for a second now. I'm going to be more interested as we edge into Zone 9 now. Who's going to go for high ground? Who's going to go on and try to be that team to take a dominant positioning here on NA, which has been very opportunistic, right? There's just chance for it everywhere, but look at this great rotate here from Shadow, Tyler, and Curve. Splash is going to come out for the solo for Shadow there. Tyler at the front side, putting shots on the teams that do have a little bit of positioning there. This low ground spot, too many teams can kind of see them here. They're in the sight lines of everyone.
Yeah, stuck from their box, though. They don't even necessarily have to go straight in. It's Stiff that's going to get taken down. Big elimination there, because those are the moments that you're talking about. They don't even necessarily need it in terms of their Storm Surge, but they're able to drive on past it, make their way in towards zone. You asked the question, who's going to get high ground, especially after Taki, Ishao, and Vert are out of this lobby. They went for it 2 out of 2 games so far, and if you look up, it's Visuals, Braids, and Aminish, a team that I thought was going to get through consistency.
Look at this. He wants to get to that landmass on the side to try and secure this base in. This is a huge material commitment. There it is. He's going to be able to touch ground here. And now they are very much set up for success here. But spreading themselves a little too wide now, allowing G Monster Bridge and OC up the mountain, and Penn Oliver and Larson trying to make the climb here. But as we know, Old Man's going to want his payment. Gotta pay the toll. Meanwhile, Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold, though, on the other side, finding their eliminations, really starting to cook up. They've made it up and over as well. Very limited grounds to play with. Chance is not even trying to make a peep here. Doesn't want to move. He's one edit away from the lobby.
Oh, he's hunting. He knows somebody else is nearby. That was a big shot by Peterbot. Ritual takes the other wall.
Yeah, that was a big shot.
Pushing them in further and further.
Yeah, but they're locking in this game. I'm trying to tell you, bro. They ain't trying to lose.
Damage from that storm. They immediately use the splash. They're trying to beeline their way up the side of that mountain. The slower side.
The Storm Surge is going to be cooking some. So.
Enpen, Larson, they're going through this entire mess, trying to go through a notice underneath, but they get in an exchange against Ozone, Void, and Golden. Luckily for them, they're able to slip out the side.
And surprisingly, there are a lot of players alive for this elevation right here. Typically, you see more get taken out, but 30 players still standing here.
Ooh, damn.
There's no dead lobby by any means.
That boy just knocked his whole shield off.
Committed so much to even get to this position to begin with, and now they're finding a little reprieve as there's another mountain that they can connect to, another base that was left here from the team's past. A little bit of angling here. Are they going to block out that launch pad is what I'm curious about, and of course they'll look to secure that too. So very, very tactical tactical play here. You can see even under all of this pressure, still making strategic decisions to secure this high ground spot. But how much longer? More teams are coming up. Splashes are starting to come through, and you can see how quickly teams can move here under the effects of the Glow Splash. Meanwhile, Peterbot still getting a fight here. Takes down one, tries to go for the second. Back to Golden. Ritual he goes. Golden falls to the zone there. That's the siphon. He wants it.
That's big for Peter
My
Box. The
gosh.
HP is going to come back up in no time, and they finally come
There it
online.
is.
They don't need high ground. They don't need a high number of eliminations early in the game because they've got 9, and those eliminations have came to them as Salt gets lined up. Cold takes him down. That's another drop as action breaks out outside the box, and he's ready to clean it up with another big shot onto Shadow as Peterbot cleans it up. Kneecapper is trying to go ahead and take its way in, but they missed that opportunity. Cold, Ritual, and Peterbot are running the low ground.
I'm trying to figure out how there's still 15 players or something like that in the game. This is too small of a lobby to have this many players here. Someone's got
Hey, bro, that's what the pro scene it looks like, bro.
Still alive here, making their way to
That's
the
how you
front
know
side
this is
of
pro.
zone one. Will it be enough here? Meanwhile, Peterbot swinging around the outskirts. The
Ooh.
wall comes
Yeah,
in
that
to
mythic
block
shotgun's
his
gonna be
insects
crazy,
just
you
too
know.
much. Ritual finally falls here. Okay, so now teams are finally starting to feel the pressure of the congestion here. Peterbot second guesses the edit there, sees another team up top. What can you do here? Cold is at 7 eliminations. He's at 7 eliminations. Look at this.
Yeah, they
are
got mad
taking
points. They just need to
three
win.
out.
Cold at an extra chug jug. He tells Peterbot, yo, you need one of them? I got you. Now they're full health. Now they're able to bypass a couple more eliminations that they didn't have to deal with. Even though there's a team on the high ground they have to worry about. That's Ozone and Void. And right now, Cold and Peterbot are sharks in the water, and they're ready to pounce. They're ready to attack. Even with pressure coming in from the high ground, Peterbot knows exactly where to move. Attacking from underneath. Gets into the box for a quick second before he gets the turn.
Woo! Good tag. Let's go.
Peterbot now by himself.
Oh, W.
Oh,
damn.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's gonna be tough to win.
They don't want to let him breathe. Give him a chance to try to fight back, and it's working so
Ooh!
It's Peterbot. It is Peterbot. He gets a big elimination onto a Minish. The Siphon is picking up, and now it's a 1v2.
2v1 situation. Peterbot's getting a moment to breathe here, and that might be the mistake for Visuals and Braids. I hate to count out 2 pro players, but when it's Peterbot,
Oh man, GG's. Hey, bro, Peterbot just came in clutch though. That boy was working, bro. Holy good shit. Bro, dude was on white health doing all that too, bro. You gotta remember that. That's crazy. 1v3, bro. 1v3 on white HP. That's crazy. Hey, bro, that's why they be afraid of him, bro. I'm trying to tell y'all, bro. You gotta put respect on bro name, bro. He's something to be reckoned with. Yeah, but with that double W key, like, it was gonna be hard to win that regardless. Yeah.
The edit is gonna catch Peterbot off guard there. What a victory for Visuals, Braids, and Aminish as they secure game number 3.
Hey, that was a good game though. That was a real good game.
It's getting interesting.
What's coming? Wow. It is so difficult to not talk about what Peter just did there.
I'm trying to tell you.
Visuals and Diminish. They got themselves the victory royale. What's crazy is they didn't have the bat in the inventory. Without a kneecapper, it's kind of difficult to play high ground, but to see them still walk away, I guess, you know, Kelly, it's kind of easy to play height when you're kind of sitting up there like, oh yeah, gee, I can't wait to start eliminating people. Oh, look at that. There's no one left. It's just Peterbot. Wow.
Yeah, I would say that does make things a little bit easier for you, especially when less teams are trying to steal height away from you because everyone's just getting eliminated on the low ground. But we knew that Braids, Visuals, and Diminish was going to be able to do this. We talked about them at the start, that we knew that they were going to be making it into the Major 2 finals, and just watching them kind of control high ground all the way from 8th zone on, which is something, Vivid, that we keep seeing time and time again now, this kind of early ground height control that we typically don't see. I'm glad to see them find their foot.
Nah, this right here was crazy. Bomb. Oh my god, bro. That was insane.
They were the only one on the east side. That's exactly where the zone pulled to, and to boot it actually went up a mountain. So it kind of just fell right into their laps. They played it so perfectly. They ramped all the way up. And I was like, they're playing kind of close to the rest of the lobby, even though they could go to the top of this mountain. And like Zeke mentioned, no kneecappers. They got to be a little wary of the fall damage that they can actually take because they didn't have those. But still, a perfectly played out game. Everything kind of fell right into the right spot for that trio.
Okay. Congratulations to them. I want to make sure you guys have your time in the sun. I want to talk about this 20 elimination victory from Peterbot, and I'm going to talk about this after this break. That's right. We'll be right back. Bye.
Homie's mad extra, bro. Yeah, but game 4 on the way, though, bro. Let's go, bro. I'm telling y'all, bro, as long as you get a win, you locked in top 5. Like, it's that simple. Hey, Raiders, I ain't gonna lie, these last 3 games though have been wild though. I want to see the stats. I want to see what Peterbot and his team's at, bro. Because Peterbot just went crazy, bro. Hey man, shout out to everybody for kicking it in Twitch and the YouTube side, man. Appreciate y'all coming through, bro. Hope y'all having a blessed day. Hope y'all enjoying the FNCS, bro. Alright, y'all. 30 seconds and we gonna see the leaderboard and the stats, man. Let's go.
Hi, we're back. Okay, so like we were talking about, Peterbot 20 elimination game. What in the heck are these guys doing? What's crazy too, we can't forget, game 1, super tough, right? In the first 2 games, they had to be revived by, or rebooted rather, by Ritual. Game 2, Peterbot got stuck up on, got eliminated. It was tough, but then game number 3, Kelly, they come back stronger than ever. They come back with that confidence. I feel like we're really used to them seeing, and man, dude, they put on a performance, almost getting the victory out. If things had maybe just kind of, just a scope.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Peterbot is like 1v5 right there for the win. Oh yeah, people couldn't say nothing after that.
Which is just North American Peterbot, where he just plays by himself, because that's exactly what we got to see here. He was in a league of his own. So same thing with Cold as well, ending off second place with 20 eliminations. But of course, we saw that Peterbot run. We thought, once again, are we going to have this insane solo run like what we got to see from the Major 1 finals? But once again, just barely missing out Vivid. Is this a sign for things to come, or is this just kind of them playing out the group stage with the confidence knowing they're going to make their way into the Major 1 finals?
Nah, I mean, I don't want to jump the gun on making conclusions about how we can kind of expect the finals to go so far. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's going to be a good trio all the time, right? Some of the plays they kind of make sometimes look like they're just kind of having fun out there right now. But I gotta say, you know, speaking about fun and being entertained and all that, it's kind of like, all right, you know, you see Peter Rise in a 1v3 and you kind of slide down your chair a little bit, right? And you start to like relax and everything, like, oh, this is over. And then like he gets that one elimination and you're kind of reminded, oh, this is Peter Bot. All of a sudden you perk up, right? You sit up, your posture's all fixed. Peter Bot just makes it look like it's possible every single time. Crazy stuff for him to just always be able to kind of put up these types of performances in the end game. 10 eliminations by himself for a total of 20 amongst the trio. Finally, a good game out of Peter Bot, Ritual, and Cold.
And I just love too the usage of that coin, right? Utilizing the coin every time they need that shield bubble. I'm gonna start a hero here. I'm gonna drop this.
Hey,
Shield
bro,
bubble.
look at that,
We have
yo.
just
3
an
games,
extra layer of
31
protection.
eliminations,
Navigate
bro.
These layers as we
Telling
need
you,
to.
bro.
And to just think, like, so game 1, 7th place, 10 elims. Game 2, 21st place, 1 elim. Game 3, 2nd place, 20 eliminations, and they're basically in first place. So
They're
while
in
we
first
thought for just a
place.
motion, for a moment we thought, oh yeah, gods can bleed. I'm just kidding. No, they can't. They're back.
Look
at
at
the
that
top like
chat,
nothing
bro.
happened.
Trying to
They're
tell
not
you.
even just in first place.
Going
through
crazy.
consistency.
Look,
They
nobody's
are
even
33
close to their
points
limbs.
ahead. You can see how
Look,
far
no one's
away
even
everyone
close.
else is, especially to someone like Shadow, Curve, and Tyler, who have had a pretty decent performance.
17 is the
today.
closest, bro. They got
For them to still just be
31, bro.
so
Dudes are
vastly ahead,
demons,
and
bro.
obviously that is due to the eliminations that they are able to claim time and time again.
They
But
literally have
obviously we
double
do need to
the
give a
second
little
highest
credit to
kills.
Curve, Shadow, and
Insane.
Tyler, although they haven't really been able to reclaim that second place game that we saw from game number 2. Still being able to make it into the end game, 7th place with a handful of eliminations is going to hold them up in our consistency leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, incredible game from them, right? Kind of keeping themselves in that conversation towards the top of the leaderboard. 2 games left, though, Kelly. I think it's time that we kind of start to have a conversation about how many points we can kind of expect to be quote-unquote safe for that top 5 consistency. So I went ahead and took a look at major number 1, and over the course of the 3 groups, it was like an average between like 183 to 205, and then over on EU today, top 5 in consistency was actually like 211. So we're kind of, I guess we could kind of use the baseline of around like 200 points when we look at the leaderboard as like something to keep an eye on, right? Going into game number 4 here. Expect it to be around that threshold.
I guess. Okay, so I hear you, but like, how many of those points? Like, there's still like this Peter Bot effect to the equation, right? Because we know Peter Bot's gonna steal away so many of those points. So maybe it's not even like 200s, right? Maybe it is like, I don't know, 160, 170. Like, if we have another game like this, I could see that. But we've also seen them fall 2 games in a row. So it's like, what's going to happen, right, in these next 2 games?
I don't think we're going to see what we saw, especially in game number 2, where they went down to Storm Surge. I think we're going to be seeing more of the atypical Peter Bot, Ritual, and Cold in these final 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people kind of wish, like, oh, I just do not want them to qualify in the first game. Please don't qualify in the first game. And we're getting a game 4 out of Peter Bot, Cold, and Ritual. Let's see what they can do with it.
You're right. It's that time. Game number 4. Monster D phase, Jacob PR. Take us away.
They're talking about right now consistency, Peter Bot and consistency, but there's still 2 games left. And imagine, Monster, the implications if Peter Bot wins this next game and opens up a spot on
All
the
right,
bottom
y'all.
of
Let's
that
go. Let's
consistency
go.
leaderboard.
Game 4, man.
Yeah, at
Game
this
4
point,
out of
I
5.
think he's just here for the practice. I think he's just going to have fun, run around the lobby, do what he does. Like we said, he does have a genuine effect on the lobby. A twin elimination game is nothing to overlook at. Clearly, they are one of the dominating trios here, and for good right. So
There you
as
go.
we jump into game 4, anything can happen. Let's see it.
The second to last game of the day. If you find yourself, 85, maybe even top 15, or 61 points and above, you're kind of giving yourself a little flexibility to hopefully put up a big couple of games here to close out the day, getting consistency. Once you peer further and further down that leaderboard, that's when you're playing true to the format, so to say, and it's a win and you're in, giving yourself that only option.
Yeah, I mean, and game 3 was very fast-paced. You could see that teams were starting to show their signs of desperation, right? Not looking to stay content with a let's just say maybe the damage that they were lacking, right, in games 1 and 2, which were a little bit more stacked. So we'll see how things are going to go now. And let's not forget, with every team that wins, once again, we remind you the format takes them out of the lobby. So spots are going to open up. Things, in theory, should ease up a little bit. The tension, right, that unfolds on the map should play out a little bit more smoothly over the course of these games. But you still have these outliers in the game, like Ritual, Peterbot, and Cold, Shadow, Curve, and Tyler, who I want to see a little bit more of. I want to see what their early game strategies. I'm very impressed with the fact that they have been so consistent with placement points, Jacob. I mean, they earned 99 points already so far. Most of their points have been straight from just making it to endgame.
Yeah, they have a 14th, a 2nd, a 7th, and then they have 16 eliminations throughout that game. It shows that the recipe is there in terms of being able to pick up that VR. But I think it's been shown throughout the lobby. Cold, Ritual, Peterbot all together again, even with Crime City being theirs themselves. And Visual Braids and a Menace from Foxy Floodgate advancing to the finals. That is a lot of potential territory open up for these 2 guys. 3 guys, I should say, to get all the loot that they want and more. And with the train, now that they're going to get the gold, the instant mythic, it's their game to lose.
There's the fight over at the Flooded Frogs right now. Moncada, Nexi, Gustam going up against another trio. And then Shadow out the tail end there, forced to disengage for a moment. Now, it seems like his team is... Someone had a failing early game at this moment. Maybe we spoke a little too soon about their consistency and their strategy. The other team seems to have figured it all out now, as they were moving in while they were distracted before. So down goes Curve here.
That's a big down early on. And you kind of seeing what it's doing. The rest of the teams hearing this noise. Magma, Josh, Causers, they're moving up to try to see if they can take any damage away from this fight. Make it have a smoother transition throughout the rest of the game. Cole, QK champs, kind of business as usual, but with our Game 1 Victory Royale winners that opened up Outlaws Oasis, that allowed NPen, Larson, and Oliver OG to move over to the spot, and where they might be unfamiliar with this side of the map, I think that could be a chance for Cole, QK, and Champs to really take advantage of this side of the map, position, and maybe try to hold them out, fight them overall, or just accumulate as much surge off of that one team alone.
Yeah, and clearly they have the advantage. They've already taken down Oliver OG, so really showing you that there was a limited amount of information from his side, right? Getting caught out of position there. Meanwhile, Josh Causer and Magma say, all right, we're going to come in. We want a third party. And in fact, we want the whole fight. And they're taking it to the team now. But Frogs has not been safe today. The plasma gun coming out. That thing is just, it's pretty gnarly, bro. I've used it. I like the way it feels. And you can see it's pretty devastating. I'm surprised we haven't seen more teams try to bring us into endgame just to break through low ground layers and cause a little bit of havoc. Look at the range on it.
Which is infinite ammo. You can just keep charging it up right
so
through the
good.
builds. It's a lot of resources being used by Nexi because he's the main one they're targeting. But a flank comes in. Josh takes a big shot. Over 100 damage just like that. But the Water Sprite is going to be instant to try to slow things down. Negate a potential push, and Causers immediately switches up what they're doing. They switch up the plasma and immediately go right back to work.
Yeah, they're I think fans of it like I am. Just destruction underway, keeping them very much on their toes.
Ooh, good hit, good hit.
When it matters, but do they hit the shots? No! They missed the most important ones. Gustav, Nexi, Moncada.
That was crazy. They hit that too, bro. They just saw.
And there hasn't been any sight of Shadow returning back to try to pick up any of his teammates' cards or anything. So I'm curious to note if I missed whether or not they were fully eliminated at this point.
Yeah, that's a big question, and that's a big team out of the lobby because we're talking about points and that threshold. If they're gone, that's second place. That makes it a little bit easier of a gap. But you can see they immediately, all
That's
three have the
crazy.
same idea. They phase into the box. They take the first one down and turn to take out the other.
GD's encrypted, bro. He ain't making it out. The storm's about to get him.
Lost teammate, and now he's gonna be by
Oh,
himself.
we got the
Teammate,
Cypher.
but it's
Oh
basically
my
a
God,
1v3.
dude, lucky.
Different angles are there. He's trying to focus on the stacks, but Death comes in to save the day. Gets that elimination.
That
and he's one
elimination
step
was
closer to the top.
stupid clutch. Dude was like 4 HP.
see how it's gonna work out.
Yeah, these dudes finna go crazy these next two games.
Stacks Encrypted Def really just eating off these gains here at the Outlaws Oasis. So it's a big chance for them now to go ahead and start to build a substantial lead here. 3 full teams eliminated now, as this early game is just starting to cook up. Let's take a look at the highlight from Stacks Encrypted and Def one more time. Champs calling Def. We already knew that, you know, they were basically running Oliver OG's team out of the drop, but they just fall into the hands of Def, Stacks, and Encrypted here, and they play it well. Look at that.
Some great shots by Encrypted down below, especially by himself. Another fight after fight. And you're seeing, again, they're trying to close the gap. Some teams through eliminations, through getting Storm Surge early. Tony's able to pick up 1 elimination. They have 2 overall. And there goes the 3rd as Rovers goes down. Another full team wiped out of the lobby. And again, you see a 3rd-party team. They're ready to crash. It's nonstop today.
I'm a big fan of Creon, Tony, and Noisy. A lot of what we've seen today is showcased how experienced they are, but seems like Jace, Madden, and Drizzy ain't got no respect for this trio right now. They're like, oh yeah, want to hang out over here by yourself and not rotate early? Let's fight. They're asking for it. Well, let's see if the newcomers got what it takes to go up against these vets here. Who you going with right now?
Oh man, as much as I want to say Drizzy, Jace, and Madden, I just think the experience is on the other side. But I will say Jace was able to drop the scanner so they know exactly where they're at, and that's why you see the little red outline. But Drizzy just takes off a big shot, almost 150 damage coming out from Tony, and they're trying to pressure from all angles, and that's why you see his teammates trying to converge, buy more time at survival. And even with big shots, you see nobody is willing to take the risk to try to 50-50 in the box. The splash is coming down, and I can see a disengage coming out momentarily.
See it, Creon. It's tagged big time there. Shield crack comes through. Noisy has to step up to support. And look, they're starting to run out of material. This is starting to look pretty bad for the team here on defense. And Tony caught through the builds as well. Okay, this trio now wants it. It's still a 2v2 here, though. Shots come out on both sides, and Drizzy gets hit. And then the side angle from Creon with Noisy following straight down the barrel. They win it. And, well, if you counted out the veterans, if you counted out the boys that have been in finals before, there you have it. That's why you can't let your guard down and get overconfident, but Storm Surge will force teams to go ahead and take these fights when they have the opportunity to. And just like that, there runs over for the game 4 here. Still another game after this, so don't leave just yet. Take a look at this highlight right here from Noisy's angle. Jumps over, they didn't even see him coming. Boxes this player up, but had the wall. Very cleanly done.
I felt like this was gonna happen. I was looking at that replay, I'm like, wait, that's the full trio right there. That's the first one. Are we about to see a little montage in action based off of back-to-back fights? And that's 2 trios down. That's a lot of surge, a lot of resources, and a lot of confidence being built up right there that you need in these last couple of games. Cold, Peterbot, Ritual. I think that last game was enough confidence for them. Peterbot saying, hey, it's not just about winning, it's just about dominating. And you can see Cold, why he teamed up with him, one of the most dominant players in the game as well. And when you have 2 of the best pound-for-pound best fighters in all of Fortnite, not just the region, on the same team, it's scary.
Yeah, you've seen a lot of moments of greatness just coming out of Cold alone today. Very nicely done. I mean, he full edit coursed that 4%. That guy in the tunnel there. We'll play for him, but hold up. Wow. Ritual and Cold, speaking of the 2, back on the prowl here at the Crime City. Someone entered into their territory. It seems like they're not happy about that.
Nah, they always go back to Crime City after their fights. This is how they re-up on a lot of their loot. I don't think they got the memo. Vedits is down below trying to hold on, but that instantly gets stolen by Cold. Him and Peterbot still staying to pressure on the other side, and that trio is kind of spread out, so it's not going to be easy to land shots with very, very little risk, but they're staying at it. The Peterbot shows exactly why it is going to be a risky situation. Almost 150 damage just like that, but he quickly backs up. In comes the reinforcements. Boz, oh my gosh, he just gets haymaker after haymaker before he eventually goes down to Peterbot, and the full trio just drops just like that.
This is crazy because I was about to give so much credit to CR and Plaza's team. They were playing that masterfully. I mean, you saw you observed that perfectly. They were playing those 3 angles. It made it impossible for Peterbot, Ritual, or Code to get a free
Hey,
shot.
bro.
And
I'm
everything
telling you, bro,
was
they gonna come out with
falling down.
mad points, bro,
But
because
they
of all these
decided
kills,
to
bro.
key
They're not
after
winning
it
so
and
far,
land in
but
the same position
kills,
and
bro, it's
send
gonna keep
all
them
these
up in the
angles
top
over.
5.
Watch it one more
See,
time.
look at that.
Masterfully
Bop,
done, right?
bop,
Takes the tag here, notices another, backs his way out.
bop.
It's just so smooth, right? Waits for him to make the edit. It's like he saw it coming. He read it perfectly. And he's just so calm and clean with the shots there. Well, on the other side, Asian Jeff Skater fighting in the zone right now. This is just in between the Pump Power and the Magic Mosses here. A bit of a
Glad to see it's a
standoff,
whole
it
nother
seems like.
team. I see Zach. I don't see Sabzi anywhere. I do see 2 eliminations on Jeff, so this looking like it could potentially be a solo or him just trying. Yeah, okay, there's Omizi, there's Kaze. Cyclops is there as well. So yeah, I do believe there might have been 1 solo there with 2 trios up on top, and that's usually a saving grace for a solo in that situation, because then the 2 trios become focused, distracted with another. They don't want to get caught off guard, and the solo is able to kind of sit in the cone, wait for them to disengage outward, and at least have a chance depending on how much heals he has in his inventory.
Oh, they're probably thinking this is the solo from the team they're fighting, but it's really Tony, Noisy, and Creon here who just had to pick up their teammate. Let's not forget that they had a little bit going on there themselves. And they're hunting. You see them looking around like, well, what happened here?
Yeah, I think they heard the noise as well, so their initial plan was probably to move over towards the black market, but they know another team is there, and this is where a lot of teams, whether they have an abundance of gold or the bare minimum, usually get a lot of those gold splashes. It helps with the rotation, especially if it's pulling towards the south. It's team HP as well, which I think is the most important factor.
Seen a lot of great moments here from Void, Godin, and Ozone, who had to clutch up for just the last 2 games there in the end game, squeezing out as many points as possible, keeping them in the running right now for consistency so far. They're just fishing for some damage right here.
114 points. And heard Vivid talk about the kind of threshold that we're looking for, around 200. It's not exact. It's based off of estimations of previous Group 1 qualifiers or group stages and all. And at 114 points, they started this game in about 9th place, which is about, I think, 6th on the overall leaderboard, with the 3 victory round winners already punching their spot into the FNCS finals. So they just need to not get a 0-point game for the most part. They just need to play as consistent as they've been just to get them to this tournament. They have a 15th place with 4 elims, an 8th and a 3rd with 5 eliminations throughout those 2 games. If they could just have 1 more performance just like that, they'll all but qualify.
What's going on here? Another tower break. Shots coming in from the side there. Side ramps as well. They're trying to catch him.
Ooh.
Gets taken down though. Shots from Oracle there.
Yeah, that was crazy amount of damage.
And now Smitty here trying to see if he can secure the elimination, but opens the wrong box instead. They're just targeting the wrong walls, but the gold splash effect is
Oh my god, caught lacking.
bites off more than he can chew for a second there. Peterbot answers up. And look, they get sent to their races here, but it's Peterbot season here. He's back on the prow, and they did pick up Cold too, so while all that was happening, look at how quickly their lead has turned into a 3v2.
Yeah, this is a chip on their shoulder, because this is the
Yep,
team that
GG's.
eliminated
Get
them
that siphon.
out
Yep.
of game 2 that caused that storm run where they both got taken down. This is revenge, a rematch, but Smitty's just down to 1 HP while Cold's going to continue to put that pressure. Peterbot's going to go for that revive. Smitty trying to peek that shot over the top, quickly
1 HP, bro, come on.
I like that attempt
GG's.
coming out from Smitty, but it was just
Trying to
little
tell you,
too
another
short.
squad with
If they
another
get
3
that
kills.
down onto Peterbot, that would have changed
They
things.
got it. Look,
Gold,
204
but
points, and 90% of it's strictly off kills. That's
It's just the
crazy.
decision making and the speed at which he
Dudes
does
are
it.
insane.
No hesitation when Ritual gets knocked there to double edit down and immediately begin the the pickup, right? While Cold is pressuring offensively, the trust that he has in Cold's ability to pop off as well. Very, very well played I just love to see great teams compete. And those are the little things that, as a Fortnite fan, I just nerd out about.
I'm just asking myself, like, does he even want to win or does he want to put on a show? Because Kelly, I believe it was talking about like 8, 9, 30 plus elimination games throughout.
Hey, Asian Jeff do got a mythic
I know one of them was a
collateral,
52
so
elimination
that could definitely
game
put some
alone
crazy
in the
damage
play-in
on people.
stage, showing how aggressive they can be. And that's one thing about Peterbot and Cold and Ritual. It's not enough just to be the best. It's not enough to win. They want to break records. They want to smash records every single time they play in one of these lobbies. And that's kind of one of those situations where I almost fear for the rest of the lobby, because if they don't win a game, they're just going to completely push every single person game after game after game. So it's almost a mini game inside of the Battle Royale where just dodge Peterbot, stay as far away from them as possible.
Yeah, and sometimes, you just don't even know what you're getting yourself into, right? Pretty sure he plays in these lobbies with anonymous mode on, so you really have to pick your poison wisely, if you will. Take a look at this though. Island controlled right now by Oliver OG and Penn Larson and another team, Cirque there, off in the distance. They're just trying to get past, but I'll have a chance here to move. Still, med miss in hands, probably gonna have to be used early here in the storm. Oliver had a feeling they were still there. He didn't trust it at all.
The split-second difference from being able to place that build and a shot being able to sneak through. Now they know for sure there are 2 trios on top of this island. And just interesting to see the difference. A team like Peterbot choosing to take the shield medallion and everybody else choosing to kind of avoid it. And that's kind of like that double-edged sword. Yeah, you do able to pop a little shield down when you are healing, but it's almost like a beacon on the map. Everybody knows where you're at.
Yeah, well, look, we saw that little mini shield, bubble come out in handy. Just the last game when they were in the zone there, they were completely protected. But yeah, that team to their right did end up seeing them because of it through the walls. Let's see here. Decky, Boone, and Sig have the early birds positioning here for the mountain.
And since they know the whole other half was in zone, almost get first dibs if they do want to climb higher and higher up the back of the mountain where they already have that mark. But there's a team towards our left. That's Ritual, Cold, and Peter. Let them have it. That's what I would be saying. Just let them have it right now. But it does look like there's just a stop, pause in this situation. The zone did open up on this side. They do have a good amount of elevation as well. So they essentially do get to pick and choose. And right now it looks like Ritual is already going over to claim both of these surge bases.
Yeah, Peterbot saw that marking out the left side there. They want to control kind of this launch pad area, and now they have full control of this outer outskirts. So Boone and team saw the opportunity, if you will, of this spot starting to open up, but they couldn't account for another trio coming out from the edge of the storm there. And there it is. Zone pulls far, and this is why you secure the launch pad first. You have options to play with now if you so choose, but they have full control of the right side of the map here, so they're just going to go on foot. No need to take the risk of air travel.
Yeah, essentially got a free rotation into the zone, down the side of the mountain. Just on that edge, there's a wide open spot as well where not too many teams are going to be boxed up, so they're going to claim that side of the zone as themselves. And since they know there's a couple of teams behind them, they have options of whether they want to look forward, try to pressure teams that are already in zone, or just continue to look back like we've seen in previous games, try to get the damage and clean up some eliminations, pick up the loot, and reinforce their position before this next couple of zones. Skater, higher, Agent Jeff. From Lone Wolf Lair contested for the first couple of games. I believe this might be the first time they were uncontested at that drop, and look how far they've been able to stretch it.
Yeah, turn that into 4 eliminations now. But do note if Jeff's 59 bills, that's not too good for an endgame spot right here. Now they do still have the medal, so big plays can start to open up for them, but it's not going to come without a fight. Meanwhile, Oliver OG and Penn Larson playing the underside of the cliff here. Just trying to keep a low profile. They have the damage, and they're positioning themselves differently, very much away from the rest of the trios here, kind of tucked in this corner.
So far away from everybody else. That edge of the mountain that is kind of opening up. Oliver OG kind of playing the role as the IGL for this squad. And rightfully so. I feel like Oliver OG is one of those players that's just been consistently getting better every single season. He's learning from every mistake that he makes, and this could be the one, especially teamed up with NPen. He missed the last Major 1 finals, and he vowed to never miss another one again.
Gotta stay locked in, gotta stay sharp. Cold Ritual and Peterbot now at 9 eliminations here. Take a look at how they picked up the most recent. Oh, the reaction speed of Cash there. Just getting clipped. Okay, looks like we have a new team going for height. Cease, Preston, and Joe are going for it too, though. They seem like they don't just want to roll over and give that one up. They're going to go ahead and fight for it.
We're going to get back-to-back 20 elimination games. And Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual, they already have 10. Double digits already been achieved, and you're seeing how they're picking up those key eliminations. Slate was just by himself, separated from the rest of his team, and I can't blame his teammates not going back from or trying to help at all. You sometimes just have to continue on as a duo.
252 below now, though, for Boone, Sigma, and Decky. It is not looking too hot for this team right here. They have to get absolutely active here, surely. Or this damage
they
is
gotta
gonna
get
ramp
active.
up. Plenty of options all around them. Just pick one and get the commitment going. Seems like they're going to be content to try to wait this one out. And these are those decisions that you're going to have to live with here. This is one of the first big end games we're seeing them start to appear in, so it's now or never.
Just hoping that 4 players go down, but it's not happening as quick as they hope. Both of the men miss smokes are going to be dropped as they continue to fall further and further below that surge threshold. Even with lasers breaking through the boxes, they're not straying away. They're not even trying to fight back just yet. They just have confidence. But Monster's not even a single player is going to drop up until now. That's Larson, but there's still 3 more that need to go down before Storm Surge deactivates. But now it's 9 zone. It has to go down to 30 players before Storm Surge turns off.
Yeah, there's a little too much happening here for them to just wait this one out, but let's lock in here. Peterbot, Ritual, Cold, playing the low ground here, rotating to the front side. I think we're seeing the early strategy of how they want to play the grand finals in the weeks to come. Swappy, Zembo end up losing Slate to the hands of Peterbot, but look at that. While that was all happening, they were going for high ground now, so it seems to be kind of changing the tide here a little bit.
Yeah, ever since they went up, I don't think anybody's really had a chance down below to even look up and see what it even looks like. There's not too much information as Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual looking to crash yet again. A little bit of damage there. So they slow things down, trying to converge, build space into the same box, but they know the threat up above. Asian Jeff knocking on the build, but he goes down. That's Golden sidelined by a whole nother team, but all the loot falls down into their box.
I was just about to say, wait, that wasn't them that picked up that elimination. Someone else did end up crashing on through. Rice, G-Monster, Osid, though. A little glimmer of light starting to come through the darkness here as we are in the final moments of this end game here. Meanwhile, Swappy and Zembo still holding up this high ground right now, still looking pretty solid. On the low ground, though, Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold have the effects of the Gold Splash coming through. There it is. Just keeping them absolutely swift and dangerous here. Clearing out all opposition in every single way. On into another box. Yeah.
Look at that, 250 points, bro. Kills, bro. Not a single win.
Having to heal up the best that he can,
Different,
but he's
bro.
ready to switch gears at a moment's notice, defending the backside of that zone. But Cold goes down. The shots finally make their way through. Storm just eating Peterbot alive, but he figured out a way to get inside of the zone along with Ritual, but they have no HP to replenish, so it's elimination or nothing, and this is the golden opportunity, but Ritual misses that one.
It don't matter if they miss it, they got damage, so now they can't get surge.
Find his refresh here. Instead, he gets down to low ground, tries to support Peterbot, gets to the front side of the rotate. Another trio's there too.
Woo-hoo-hoo! W hit by Ritual, bro.
To get the follow-up on the opponent as well.
Hey, yeah, W siphon too. Let's go.
Can Ritual finish this
Oh,
game?
nah, he didn't get it.
Couldn't get the points in the end.
No, he
didn't
got it.
matter,
He
though.
got the
They're
points.
still
He just died.
making endgame appearances. Meanwhile, now everyone else has an opportunity to try to take this dub home. Joji and Prom are picking up Donnie here. They're still in the game. Mats are running low, though. It seems like every team is wearing the damage on their sleeves here.
And the zone cuts back. They're hiding right underneath high ground. That Zemo, that's Swappy. The duo that's been left alone for so long, now being contested, but 2 more eliminations go through. Golden, Bryce, G-Money all getting taken down. Joji just trying to keep his position secured, but swiftly running out of builds. Chance goes down to the backside of zone. There are so many trios that are being separated from the rest of their team as Edgy falls, bringing us 1 step closer to the end.
Hey, these dudes got some good,
Joji thought he picked up
got some
Mavs,
good
but no,
damage
he
too, though.
couldn't actually secure main time, so instead goes straight for the fight, tries to get the edit breakout, finds Ozone, and then closes out the game. Donnie, Joji, and Prom do it once again, and they make their way straight to the grand finals.
That was a big game for them. And we've seen Donnie in some of the biggest situations, 1v3 through group stages to win a game. And we're going to see him one more time in the Major 2 finals. And that's really taken those opportunities.
Hey, man, that was a crazy match, bro. Holy.
Uncontested, but as soon as
I think we still got one more game left, chat, for the NAC.
sealed the deal.
Take a look at it one more time from their perspective. They really had to fight for this one, right? Even though they were finding these refreshers and getting those maps, it just cost them everything to get up and over. But luckily, in the end, their team stuck together. What a game. It looked like 12 eliminations here for game 4. So, Zeke, that was no easy feat from Joji, Donnie, and Prom there.
Bro, absolutely. I love that MDF as well points out that even though they're getting these impact eliminations, it's just not enough, right? That's just how chaotic these last few moments of these games can be. To see them walk away with a double-digit VR, though, it's got to feel good. And of course, this is Donnie. This is the guy we saw 1v3 last major that left us all shocked. So to see them secure themselves that spot to go into finals, I'm very excited to see them.
Also to do it as a new trio as well. I think there was just a few question marks on how this team would synergize with each other. I mean, Donnie and Joji and Craze as well, all having pretty decent performances throughout the last few finals that we've seen. To have them all join together now, I think that there's a lot of potential. I think over the next 2 weeks, as they get to prepare for those Major 2 finals, we're going to see them even being more polished, Vivid.
Yeah, I mean, outside of game number 3 there, the pattern of the day seems to be the team on the low ground that can kind of pick up some of these refreshes and stay alive as a healthy trio will eventually be the ones that come out with the win there. But incredible stuff, right? As you can see them, they're just constantly making sure that they're towards the front side of the moving zone, kind of looking back, always finding some of these players who are in the midst, who are a little bit shambles, who are definitely not as healthy as them. Just really well played. And as you can see, they're just always kind of being aware of what they're going to be doing as a team. All 3 of them kind of making the same shots at the same time. Very clean from this trio.
Yeah, and I could be mistaken, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Prom is Craze.
Yes.
And there's like a whole bunch of craziness going on with that from, just jumping around trios. But again, congratulations to them getting themselves that Victory Royale. Now they can just chill, start planning for the finals. There's a couple other things we wanted to discuss, but first we're going to go to a break. When we return, the final game of Major number 1, Group 1. So stay tuned. We'll see you just a little bit.
You do need to check the schedule, y'all, for the schedule of when Clicks and all them lot play, and my homie Muzz. I like watching Muzz play. Muzz is goated. All right. Damn, so alright, so chat, I ain't gonna lie, because it's gonna take that long. I actually might end stream after this next game, and then I'll start streaming again at 12, because that's when Clicks and Muzz and Higgs and all those guys play. That's gonna be the group 2. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be a lot earlier than that. Actually, you know what? I'm lying. I'm tripping, Chad. I'm tripping. Because by the time this ends, it's probably gonna be like 9 o'clock, 9:30. So which means I only need to play for like about an hour and a half. 10. So basically like 2 hours. I could do that. That's fine. And then after group 2, we ended. For sure. Because that's from 12 to 3 in the morning. So the group 2, which is with Clicks, Higgs, Muzz, and all of those dudes, that's going to be at 12 p.m. my time. So that's going to be like another... After this, it should be like 2 hours. 2-3 hours. That's not too bad. So I guess we're just going to have an extremely long stream today. But hey, I'm down for it. I ain't gonna lie, chat. I don't know if y'all is, you know what I mean? But I'm down for it. And shout out to everybody who's been coming through, watching the stream, kicking it, you know what I'm saying, showing love and stuff. Appreciate y'all, man. Hope you guys enjoying yourselves. But after this last match, we're gonna play some Fortnite. Probably just play some more pubs, maybe a few ranked games, and then we'll by then the group 2 stage group 2, yeah, they should be out next.
Welcome back, everyone, to the FNCS. This is major number 2, not major number 1, Zeke. Good job. Anyway, sorry about that. I had to talk to someone. Anyway, so that was game number 4. We saw Joji, Braum, aka Craze, and Donnie get themselves the victory royale, secure themselves a spot in finals. But there's other things that happened in that game, like Peterbot doing Peterbot things. It got a little scary there toward the end. It's funny, like when we watch Peterbot, it's kind of like they're kind of like a train, right? Like they get going and it's like, okay, can anything stop them? And then sometimes they just go on to win the game, and then sometimes you just slam the brakes, blow up the train, sink it, and hope that it doesn't come back. But Peterbot always comes back.
I love it. You know, once they hop on that train doesn't really stop for them, does it? But obviously, this train has slowed down just a little bit from the high-speed rail that we're used to, that is Peterbot Ritual in Cold. However,
I ain't gonna lie, Ritual been coming up clutch, though. I ain't gonna lie. Ritual been locking in, bro. W support player. He brought him back twice in like the first 2 games, bro. That's what really got him a lot of points, too.
It's kind of like that weird thing where sometimes when we watch a Peterbot game, Peterbot Cold and Ritual, it's like, wow, that, you know, they went down right there. Looked like they could have made it way further in the game, and then you kind of blink a couple times and you're like, oh wait, that was actually a pretty decent game, right? They got like 8th place with 17 eliminations. So you always gotta kind of stay on your toes when it comes to talking about this year, because it's like, again, it just feels like that was a bad game for them, but still a lot of points for them to kind of put up right there. Obviously, the trio is still very, very good. Ritual kind of showing off some of his mechanical training and what that's kind of done for him. There was a very clean 173 shot that I saw out of him right there.
But yeah, that's gonna be the last game for NAC, man. Let's go. Let's lock it in, man. Look at that. Bro, almost 50 points, and they're not even in the 5th game.
I'm kind of curious.
That is crazy.
Because Cold and Peterbot are just so aggressive that, like,
But they gotta win, bro. Like, they really risking, like, losing right now.
Ritual's kind of like staying back. He's kind of playing that, like, hey, I got your back to support. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, that definitely is what we're seeing here with Peterbot and Cold. They obviously kind of like to split up and then go on the aggressive when they do enter these kind of box fights, where Ritual will stay a little bit behind or kind of shoulder to shoulder with another one of the players there. And, you know, Richie, he's just that good. He's able to stay alive. Obviously, Peterbot and Cold are getting carried by him right now, so I'm glad to see that them as a trio doing pretty well on the consistency leaderboard.
I mean, doing great right now in first place when it comes down to the consistent teams, but yeah, it's definitely going to be a matter of them being on the front line right there. And as you can see, the lead right now for them is creeping up on 100 points. Again, it doesn't really feel like that, does it, Zeke? But that's just how good some of these games have been from them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. You know, let's
Like,
just
look, they're only gapping by 100, bro.
Okay,
But their kills, bro, their limbs is wild, bro. Look, those dudes in 4th place only have 8 kills, bro.
At the end, we either won a victory royale or
Like,
10
holy,
in the top 5,
bro.
which is just think like the top 10. Okay, these guys have just made it in, but the job's not done. We only have a single game left to go, Kelly, and with that being a 2-point difference, just to fall back in a 10th, that's still pretty scary, especially because like 11th isn't. It's actually a tie between 10th and 11th place. They're both at 141 points.
And
That's not good.
No, and you can't have someone like Edgy, who I think actually has the most FNCS finals performances out of anyone that is competing here today, and also one of the only FNCS wins out of the 4 players we have representing there. So to imagine Edgy not making it into the Major 2 finals, that would be such a major upset, especially with Chance and Scare on his team right there. You can see just how close they are, though, to that threshold, currently sitting at 141 points. Vivid in game 5. This is when we see some unique strats coming out from these trios that are going to try and get that ticket to the Major 2 finals.
Yeah, I mean, again, I tried to make a guess going into game number 4 there, right? How many points are actually going to be necessary? It was like probably around like 200 points, right? And you kind of look at some of those trios, and some of them have less than 100 right now. So it's like, what the heck can they do to get to 200 points? Well, you can win. That's what you got to love about this format. It doesn't matter if you're in last place on the leaderboard right now. You can still make it into the finals. You just got to win that last game. And speaking on the pacing of the last couple of games, Zeke, right, that first zone has had our player count drop down to like 75 each time.
Yeah.
So these games in the early stages are getting super aggressive. That's probably because we're getting to the point where it's very, very hard to come back in terms of consistency.
Yeah, man. And again, something to talk about as well, right? So, like, I love you mentioned the win, but if someone even in that top 5 gets a win, we're then pulling one player outside, like further away in, right? So we're either going to have someone in that top 5 win a game here and shake things up, or we're going to have someone outside the top 5 win a game. And then you're like, okay, whoever's in the top 5, good luck. Hope you made it. But this is it. One final game here to settle things for group number 1. So for the last time today, Jacob, PR, MDF, take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Zeke, and that's right. Yeah, for some teams, consistency is out of the question. You literally have to play for the victory out, and Jacob, that's what makes this super, super fun, right? Because even Oliver OG, who's kind of fallen out of the bubble, they can still have a chance here if they can win the game.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of like that last opportunity, that last hope. By any means, for people that do not make the finals are out of FNCS because they got the last chance qualifier. But let me tell you, the last chance qualifier, that's the difference between landing at a POI and a split drop. There's a world of difference. Every division can make it in. You don't want to have to go down there. So it's all up to this. Game 5, and it starts now. If you look down,
Oh yeah, last match, man. Let's see who locks it in. Let's see if Peter Button can lock in.
If it were to end now, there would be a tiebreaker scenario for teams that make it to the FNCS finals or not. So it could come down to literally, Monster, one elimination difference, one placement point differential, and it just goes to show that it ain't over until it's over.
Yeah, there's definitely some teams on the bubble right now that are looking to claw their way into that placement point threshold, and we really don't know what that's going to be, right? Vivid said he had his own kind of reservations, his own estimations, if you will, of what that number was, and it seems like we might be well off of that. So this is going to be a very interesting point cutoff, and I mean, only time will tell, right, if it's going to be 180 points or more.
Already we're seeing what's left of a fight that broke down. Rafiki's able to get 2 eliminations. Trying to spot out where that third player is at. Disengage all the way towards the side. They kind of marked him at the edge of the minimap. You kind of just see him looking over there. He's thinking, how am I going to go back? What am I going to do? What is the plan here? And luckily for him, it's the early games. There's some loot over there in that split drop, so he does have a lot of time to formulate something.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it seems like, what was it, back around that Magic Moss's shadow actually falls. But look at this, Tyler and Curve. So wait a second, it was the Flutter Frogs, excuse me, where the fight ended up dissolving quickly last time for Tyler and Curve, but now it seems like it's kind of a fair and square, both sides catching a bit of a casualty here. So they're looking to reset.
That team that's contesting him, that was the team originally contesting Asian Jeff and his trio over towards the Lone Wolf layer. So they didn't just switch drops to something that they thought was uncontested due to the Victory Royale winners not having to play. They just went somewhere else completely. They went Flooded Frogs, and it's going to be fight after fight for them. But luckily enough, they get a chance. Split loot, continue on with the rest of the game, but not everybody is feeling that comfortable here.
War Silent and Wigs on the hunt right now. Looking pretty good. Psycho's got to hit these shots here. It's going to be all over, but can't come up and support his teammate in time. Instead, Doxy Slam's going to be the first to fall of this trio. Expert fashion now for the W key here from Roar, Silent, and Wiggs. Playing the sides, gets a great low ground tag, looking for the piece control as well. Psycho takes a bit of fall damage on the way down, and that's just gonna go on and send them back. Speedy, buddy, I think you gotta run here if you want a chance. But no, he's just gonna put up his best and most valiant effort, if you would.
Yeah, he wasn't even originally in the fight. He had to close the distance to get to his teammate. If only somebody on his team let him know, hey, we're going to go down. You're going to need to stay alive. Don't even bother coming in this direction. But he tried to be the hero for his team.
Yeah, for real.
Ends up getting taken down early in the last game of the day. But their FNCS isn't over yet, Monster. They do still have the last chance qualifier.
That little highlight. Sliding up in nice icy fashion here. And this is where, you know, you would think game 5 teams would look to avoid these types of fights, right? Not play necessarily aggressive, especially if you're out of the, you know, question for consistency points, right? You really want to play for the win. That's your only hope for going straight to finals here, at least in this setting. Back on over Oliver OG, Larson, and Pen. Would we say they learned their lesson from game 4? Seems like they kind of mixed things up here.
You see the points needed to qualify from the last 3 groups last season were 205, 188, and 183. That position, 10th place, is about 141 to start the game. So you got to think it's going to be relatively close, I think, to the lower half, the 88s, the 183. I think that is going to be more realistic instead of just overall that 200 hump.
Yep, I was thinking the same exact thing. Look at this. Curve and Tyler, after losing Shadow, play the outskirts here, just try to get their loot going. Keep in mind, they do land at the Flooded Frog, so now it's time to play for the pickup, but Boone, Sigma, and Decky also in a battle here to the far north, so not too far off. Seems like they got situated and got straight to action as well.
Trying to say, I think that's east of Flooded Frogs, north of Magic Mosses, as far as can be. We're just going to quickly climb up, kind of reset themselves in this situation. They have a lot of materials already. It's just kind of scrapping together what other resources are left, but this is how they put themselves in that situation. It was Jace who did get taken down. That was a quick cleanup and elimination. He just got separated from the rest of his team, and 3v1, the numbers are stacked against you.
Got Josh on the move right now, looking for possibly lurking players. They're in the right, say they got the right idea, right? You see a trio off to the east, but no one right in sight. So they fully secured kind of this general area. They're probably still lingering around Shadow's car too, right? That actually makes more sense. That's why he was kind of looking in those weird areas to see if anyone's lurking, but Death Encrypted stacks back on over to them right now. It's a big fight. This is up against Oracle and Smitty. We've seen them get taken out kind of in the mid-green last game. And you got to think about it, Jacob. When you fall that early, right, you're kind of sitting on the sidelines, right? You can cool off. So we'll see if that kind of hurts their momentum.
Oracle, Smitty, they were the ones who snuck up, take on Peter Bot one of them earlier games.
Remember that?
From all angles, Encrypted is able to find a shot onto one. You see the material count from Oracle is super low to go after a prolonged fight. He's not really going to be able to hold his builds, but a third-party team comes in. That might be exactly what they're looking for, as long as they don't become the targets.
Okay, this is pretty sketchy though. This is our 11th place team. Josh, Causes, and Magma, right? So they're on the bubble. They're literally on the line of qualifying right now. All they got to do is make endgame and stay the course. But for them to jump into what looks to be 6 players just starting a fight here is definitely a little too early. Meanwhile, Peterbot back on the move here against NPen Larson. Oh, it's not looking good.
Yeah, and his 2 teammates are already busy, so NPen's not going to get help anytime soon, but it doesn't look like he needs it just yet. Over 125 just like that. Peterbot, but still not back. Instead of healing, he goes and re-challenges.
Oh, nah, that's crazy.
And Ritual are able to clean up the
That
others,
was
and that's
insane.
a full trio down.
Right? Even with as much game sense as he has, he's like, oh, I even the playing field.
That
I'm
was
good.
crazy.
Get out of here. Nope, not against Peterbot. He's still looking to challenge. Being one shot, he's ready to take that reflex trade. Tough one, but you live, you learn.
One well-placed shot from NPen would have taken him down. Like, not many other players would have re-challenged in that situation. But you called out 11th place. We saw 13th place over on this side of the map, all congested with more and more teams moving in. Shadow Curve Tyler, a team that's inside of that consistency bubble. They're able to get their teammate back up, and you see them disengaging towards the north, still in zone, but because they know this is too risky of a situation, because they would kind of have to sit on the sidelines if they got eliminated and watch and hope the points that they've been able to accumulate up until this point, which is only 147, would hold. So I like that idea from them.
I mean, I like what we see developing here. We're watching our 8th place team and our 11th place team somewhat traverse near one another, right? So if they end up clashing, I mean, it's going to be direct standing implications, right? Direct final spots on the line here. Keep a lookout for that one. As we check in with another team that is very much in the conversation right here, OSID, G-Money, and of course, Bryce. They have continued to look very, very good so far here on the day. Taking down another solo here. It's Vedits, Plaz, and CR. So Plaz is no longer on the playing field.
Vedits was able to get in underneath. CR took some damage, but he's able to kind of converge, backtrack, and this is where it's going to be hard. Even though it is going to be a 3v2, it's almost a risk-reward scenario, sacrificing damage, but they continue to run, beeline it to the other side. They don't even want to stay and try to attempt the fight. So this could be a good chance for them to try to disengage. It's just a matter of OSID, G-Money, Bryce. Did they split up? Did they take different angles? One from above, one from below, and that's going to be true. CR did not get the memo. G-Money goes over the top to cut him off and not give any exits up.
Yeah, Bryce is just getting mixy on the low ground there, but it seems like they have things under control. Sid tries to skate his way out the side. There's so many exits that you could take here, and look at this. Vedits just lurking and walking his way on out to freedom now.
This is the first elimination. Plaza is the first one to kind of go down. Scott boxed up, 2 separated from the rest of his team. CR didn't even build. He's just trying to hide, wait for G-Money, but wasn't able to really attack hard enough, and G-Money just had a whole advantage in terms of HP and shield. Just one shot, really all it took. Ozo involved in Golden, 177 points. This is a team that when you ask a lot of the community to try to make their predictions, do they get in with a game win? Do they get in for consistency? I think it's almost unanimous. Consistency was going to be the key for their success here today.
Well, let's see how consistent these other trios can be up against the likes of the strongest in the lobby right now. They're getting swarmed up. It's not looking good for Omizi, Cyclops. If they don't start making a move here, I mean, they're just going to start running out of real estate here shortly. What we saw best was when a team put their back against an indestructible wall and then played different, side angles, if you will. But putting yourself right in the middle, I mean, you're just asking for one of them to find an opportunity, and that's what Peterbot's looking for right now, an opportunity, a chance, but Cold is there to find it. The trade comes out. Both sides are punished, and it's all up to Peterbot now, but he evens the score. Now it's up to K. Can Gay get the shot? Look at this. He slides out the side there, and K escapes ever so slightly back to his teammates, but Cold is going to make the call there. He sees what's happening. K's secured the elimination here, Jacob.
Yeah, Ritual's still down, so there's a chance that Peterbot could go for the revive, try to bait out his teammates. But I think Hayes is trying to do that same thing. Go for the res, force Peterbot into him in this situation, and it's going to work. But Peterbot gets the first cleanup on Omizi. That was a knock. Now he's in a 1v1. 2 quick shots, just a sliver of HP remaining, and Peterbot, like a shark in the water, he smells his next victim, and he's ready to take him out, but just a sliver, just 1 HP. He's barely surviving, and you see him backtrack all over to Ritual to deny the Siphon opportunity. 200 IQ out of Peterbot as he now looks to stick the revive.
Yeah, I was going to say, very smart. I mean, he knew that the Siphon could have come through for K there to go ahead and, kind of put him back in the game there, give him a little bit more confidence, but K takes off. He takes the only chance that he gets to take off here, and Peterbot's hunting. He's looking around. He's like, wait a second, you could have gotten that far. And of course, he's going to catch watch the visual effects, I was going to say, of the heals here, and there's no way you could go. Peterbot's kind of toying with him at this point. There it is. The full finish. I thought he was going to troll and hold him there, but he gave him a little more respect.
Boxed him. Like, what is, he's just so quick. I would love to have like some sort of like actions per minute test go down on some of these Fortnite players. Peterbot has to be above and beyond one of the quickest players, but a lot of these fights, you're seeing that mythic Sentinel Pup just dealing so much damage. Even pre-piece, again, just impressive isn't even the word anymore.
Wait a second here, though. Curve, Tyler, and Shadow with all pressure on them right now. And the pressure being that they can't afford to fall here. They are inside the top 10. They're in the consistency stretch, if you will. But they need to survive. They need an end game. And for some, that's where things get all the more difficult, right? Can you perform under pressure? Of course, they've made their way to several finals in the past through victory royales and, of course, consistency. So just another day in the office, but still, anything can happen. Seen it all go down today, from ambushes to big clutch plays.
Noisy, Creon, and Tony. When we talk about the line of consistency, 141, they are the team in 10th place, 5th on that consistency leaderboard, and they are winning the tiebreaker monster due to just a little bit more eliminations than Josh Causers and Magma just below them on that leaderboard. So it's all about just kind of keeping pace with everybody around you, getting Storm Surge. It's something that you mentioned time and time again. It's like currency for a lot of these players, and you kind of need it to make it past a certain point in this game. And so they're trying to be proactive. Boxed up just outside of Brutal Boxcars. Most of the teams will have to rotate near and around them.
Void just waiting this one out, though. Gonna catch one of them off guard. Now, game 4, there was something similar happened here as well between these teams kind of fighting at the Seaport, but Smiley, Max, and Salt did not make it the distance. Ultimately, they were one of the few to go down. Look at this ambush. Talking about teams, you know, waiting for chances. That's exactly why. Just like that, you never know. And a big, big elimination here. Okay, this is a game changer for them right now. Curve, Tyler, and Shadow have now effectively fought their way through, defended their way through 2 big engagements so far. So really and truly, it is not being given to them by any means. They are working for it here in the last game of the evening. Now at 162 points here, Jacob, look at them just continue to work the lobby.
Yeah. Couple of these quick and early eliminations not only helps the point because how close the gap is. I do believe they started at 147. It's helpful for the Storm Surge, which we know is a huge part of this game. 5th zone, though, 58 players left in this game. You're seeing how active the lobby is. Multiple players getting taken down. Sniper included, as Peterbot claims yet another player on his list. His 5th elimination so far, barely into this early game. And you see Oracle and Smitty are nearby. That's the duo that is left behind. And as soon as Peterbot heals up and find his way back, good luck to you.
Yeah, watch how it goes down. 160. Again, the damage that this shotgun can output is definitely scaled up. All right, it's the best in the game. It's the best available in the hands of Peterbot. He makes full use of it. Jacob called it best there. Saw it coming.
You know, I see it all the time where players in the same lobby as Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual, and they're like, you know what, just don't do anything. Don't move. Let them deal with the lobby for us. And I think that in Game 5 here, with how aggressive they've been throughout Games 3 and Games 4, that might be a viable strategy. Just sit in your box, sit in your cone. Storm Surge isn't going to be very, very active until maybe Zone 7, 8. And they claim another one. Launch pads are a huge no-no. They're just going from team to team, taking names and checking them off their list.
I'm surprised he didn't just use the kneecapper there to just go ahead and send them flying off the boxes. Cold follows up very proficiently already now.
Yeah, but slow,
Pressure comes from the third-party shots from behind as well as the team in front of him, so has to go in full reset here for a second. But no worries. You have someone like Cold here to back you up. There goes the finish.
It's almost crazy to think about. that with so many competitors in this lobby, some still fighting for that consistency leaderboard, that it almost is determined by, does Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual rotate near you?
That
Do they
is
see you?
crazy.
Because that's a fight that more times than not,
That
they're
is
all
definitely a
going to try to
clickbait,
take.
100%.
We've seen some teams, some individuals slow them down, force them to disengage. They live to tell the tale. But not too many players today have been able to say they can do just that.
Well, hopefully the wrong team doesn't end up near them, because there are teams that we're seeing, like Causler's team and Magma, Josh here, who still have a chance if they can stay alive to the end game here. Ozone, Azteca, Golden, take a look at this. Alongside Void and Ozone do good work there, taking out Smiling. We knew the Seaport City, that fight always ends up going one way or another. Back on over to Void's team, though. They're watching Peterbot's trio take another fight at the mountain across, and they want to get their heals. They're trying to wait this storm line out so they can have the high ground. They're really banking on this, pulling this way.
That was
Excited to see if they end up getting it.
I don't know if they know Peterbot and them are over on the other side of the mountain, but you saw
think
they
they
dropped back further into zone and then dropped the med miss. Exactly that. They just wanted to make sure there was no chance anybody was going to look over and see that med miss, because that would have instantly made them a target as Cold continues to clean house. That's their, I believe, 14th elimination of the game, or somewhat close to it, maybe 11, but there we go. It's the replay. That probably was their 14th, and that was their journey to pick up those eliminations.
I was going to say, even before the replay played, I was about to make the comment that I don't know if I'm watching a replay. Like, they are just continuously going. Every time we jump onto them, it's like an elimination is unfolding. It's so quick. It makes it look like a highlight reel. Curve, Tyler, and Shadow, though, have managed to avoid that storm on the other side. But look, all eyes on Cold right now. Even Ritual's finding his eliminations here. He's at 3 as well. This team breaking the 12 mark now. Wait, my math is way off. They're at 4. Is that 14? Yeah.
Yeah, it was the I'm telling you, it was the replay that got us both in that moment.
I'm telling you.
That's the highlight reel. Look at the little edit course going. This is just confidence. He knows he has his spot secured. He almost feels like there was no world that he wasn't going to qualify. And like I said before, it's making a statement time for Peterbot. It's not all about winning. It's about being the undisputed best, and not even for just Central, not even for North America, for Fortnite in general.
3,000 damage above the threshold. They know they've qualified. They have full control of the height here. He's burning the material because he just can for fun. And he knows the storm's coming as well. So this is all for good measure. And again, if you are in the running for qualifying right now through consistency, you're happy Peterbot's doing what he's doing as long as you're hiding right now.
As long as you're hiding, it's
Staggering
crazy.
back, he knows a couple players are still deep in the zone, and they're immediately just looking back there. But Cold takes a little bit of a shot. Still not enough to start to boot the confidence. Players all around are trying to use this opportunity, but it pulls all the way north in that direction again. So a good portion of the lobby is going to have to rotate over towards Brutal Boxcars, but the saving grace is there's no more mountains, or at least not in the next zone.
Well, here it goes. Down and around. This is coming straight into flat territory now. Everyone's going to pretty much get a little bit of a reset here for the setup at the Brutal Boxcars. Take a look at the highlight, though. While the rotate's happening, guess who got a 3-piece for his hard efforts? That's 1, that's 2, and then the 3rd just to clean it up. And that throws them ever so closer to 20 eliminations. They are virtually knocking on the door of a 30 elimination game. Can they do it in a finals group stage lobby? Let's see it. Wait a second, though. Gotta be careful. That's a team that can qualify here.
They're already inside of the bubble. That's a big down on the G Money. That one quickly gets cleaned up by Cease. And he was in that same situation not too long ago with Peterbot knocking at the door, as he's going to take a full 1v3 by himself. Jumps down from above. Big shot's going to be landed on the first, and finally reinforcements come in. Cold is ready to shake things up. It's basically a race between Cold and Peterbot for eliminations. They look at it as a mini game within inside of the game, and they know they're stuck in Brutal Boxcars. There's not even space. Everybody crashed down as Cold finds another one. He's trying to breathe. Exhale goes down, and he's just hovering over the opponent. Breaks into the box. Finally, a moment to breathe here with a good shot on the Cold. That's going to slow things down, but only for a short moment.
There goes the Siphon to keep him alive and healthy in the game here. Back to 100. kneecap or give them the high ground. They're like, all right, had a little too much fun down there. That was pretty close. And they come up to high ground for the reset. And, you know, you thought we would have seen them up here maybe in game 1. You say, nah, maybe in game 2. But no, it took all the way to game 5 before Cold, Ritual, and PV go for high ground in the end here. Just to flex a little bit, but for Sid and Bryce, right? G-Monster was one of the few to fall there to the hands of Peterbot right now. Not few, one of the many, I should say. So it's all the more closer for them. Look at this, points here as well onto Tyler, Shadow, and Curve, right? They're just trying to hold on for this end game. And Jacob, I'm still seeing 35 players alive, so it's like 2 different games.
Yeah. And down below, you can see everybody scare, Edgy, Chance, Champs, QK Cole. They're all trying to get the front side of the zone. They're trying to stay away from getting stuck behind as Ritual claims another one. Stacks now is on that list, sent back to the lobby. 442. Remember, this is the team that was the line. They were 10th place. They started at 141, so they know they cannot make any mistakes. Ozone without gold, and at least he has Void trying to tarp to the front side of the zone. This gives them an opportunity here to slow things down. Looked back for any opportunities, but most of the next zone is looking like it's going back up towards that mountain.
See, but they've done good. They've made it past that 200-point threshold, so I think they should be feeling pretty confident, but you never really know, right? Pressure still on to go ahead and survive here. 12 teams remaining now. Peterbot's team at 20 eliminations here and counting as they're working their way down the lobbies now. Meanwhile, on the bottom right-hand corner, you see Ozone sliding his way to the front side of zone, just trying to stay alive here, trying to find himself a little moment to breathe here.
Staying away from all that chaos, doesn't want to stagger back at any moment. But Peterbot continues to go after hunting on elimination after elimination. Drops down yet again. They separate one, almost box him up, but he gets coned off. Doesn't want to take the risk to continue to fight that. Separates himself and immediately looks down to put pressure. Cold takes down Osid. That just leaves one player of that trio alive to try to keep themselves inside of the consistency bubble.
Yeah, they're trying to jump their way up. There it is. Curve falls as well. So Cold is really getting busy right now. Tyler finds Ozone there. Those are the points he needed. And I think he might have did enough. He's at 195, but Noisy, Creon, Tony just trying to make the final stretch here. They're starting to gas out, though. No more mats as they go straight into the tunnel. Will that even be the right decision? I can't tell you. The zone can go either which way, but one thing's for certain. No one is safe from the hands of Peterbot here. He is still finding eliminations. They're also out of gas. They're at the very end, waiting for any chance here. Onto Magma they go. Another Elim punts through, and that's it. Peterbot tries to find his way around. Can he get a little siphon tip? No, it's not enough. Meanwhile, Cold is sort of leading this pack here. And look who's at the top, Jacob. Just a 3-man team and a dream.
That is a big win for Tony.
I mean, they still qualified, but god damn, bro. Like, look, bro. 2 of my teams, bro. My teams. My EU team and my NAC team, bro. They didn't win, bro, but they went crazy and they both qualified. So can't be mad at it. Can't be mad at it.
And you know, it's nice to see a team
man.
win the game, right? They had some ups, they had a lot of downs in today, but it really shows you that you can't have a doubt. Even with as good as some of those other trios are, you have to stay the course. You can win a game. Take a look from their perspective. I was, you know, wary of them going into the mountain, committing to the mountain with possibly no escape plan, but they end up making it work. They timed their exit perfectly, and then they are the team to get the high ground for the victory. Now, congratulations to Noisy, Creon, and Tony. We saw a lot of their gameplay here today for this group stage, Jacob, and I gotta say, they played very, very well in the end.
Yeah, we know the 5 teams that already advanced throughout the game winners through the day. We know Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual got consistency. But there's 4 spots left, and that right there for them is not leaving it up to chance. But that's going to do it for myself and Monster D-Face. We need to know, Zeke, who is making it through consistency?
Thank you so much, MDF and Jacob PR. Love hearing you guys call all the action. Okay. So, obviously, big congrats. We got Noisy, we got Cram, we got Tony. They got themselves the victory out in those final few moments. And again, we've seen it time and time again. Old Man Mountain will absolutely claim its toll, but for them to kind of just get ahead of it all and then just say, yeah, Peterbot, just go ahead and mulch the rest of the lobby for us. They walk away with the win. Man, after 5 games. It's been a roller coaster, I feel like, Kelly, to say the least.
Oh yeah, and a roller coaster, especially for this trio right here, and that's what you want to see when you are in that top 10 consistency. You want to be able to claim out the final victory royale of Group 1.
That's
And
crazy,
you
bro.
know,
These
when you
dudes
saw
all went
that
crazy though.
Snow
That was a
distance,
crazy
Tony
match. In
jumped
my
out
opinion, though,
Tony and said, "I'm gonna
these
clean things up
watching the
back."
NA was way more
Hard
entertaining than the
against
EU
Cole.
though. Even
You
though
know,
the EU
and
did go
Cole, though,
crazy.
I know we've said their name 1,000 times, and we'll say their name 1,000 times more. Put up such a good fight. Vivid, that is the Peterbond Cole that we've known and loved over the last year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it just gets better and better every time, doesn't it? 26 eliminations in game number 5 there. A lot of people got there, which they didn't get a win throughout the entire day, which means we got 5 games full of Peterborough, Cold, and Ritual. And what better way to close it out with the last one being the best from the trio?
Just a disgusting stat line. Let's remind ourselves of who got themselves the victory royale in those 5 matches. Just as a reminder, maybe you're just tuning in and you missed out. So whoever got a victory royale every game automatically qualified to finals. And then after that, we're going to take it to the leaderboard. Whoever ends in the top 5 through consistency, which just, when you look at that top 10, just look at the top 10 to and through 6th, they're the ones who made it through the top 5. Here is the list there. Now we have to start turning attention to these standings. There's a couple little things.
Sorry,
I
I'm
wanna
back
call out
in
before
absolute agony.
we have to look
Yeah,
at
it's all good. I
the
sent you a message on IG.
top 5. As we prepare,
Just checking in and make sure, you know what I'm saying. If you need to chop it up, I'm here for you.
There's going to be, I'll go ahead and spoil it now. A trio did not, barely missed out on the top 5 by 4 points.
Oh,
Not Peterbond.
And we'll get there.
yeah.
It's not. Is it Peterbot? No, of course, Peterbot is going to be at the top of the standings with just. When you guys see the stat line, you're just gonna be like, yeah, that's just what Peterbot does.
Man.
Obviously, this trio has
What's this?
dominated
It was ticky
group
tack.
number 1, and thankfully for the other groups,
Had to sort out a
don't
few
have
bits.
to
Yeah, I
deal
got you.
with Peterbot, Cold,
To
and,
get my
Ritual,
horse
right?
put down tonight.
But
Oh, okay. Sorry to hear
just
that, Katie. Sorry to hear
obviously,
that.
we're
Rest in
gonna
peace,
continue to
man.
talk
God
about
bless
these
us all.
guys as they're on screen, as they appear in the finals and do more cool things. Do we feel like now, and to be hypercritical, right? I normally wait for like finals to get
Yeah,
hypercritical.
for some
but
annoying reason, my notifications don't work on
there's
Insta.
obviously
Oh, it's all good. Don't worry about it.
chinks in the armor.
Don't say, don't stress it,
Right?
man. You got a lot
We
more
saw in the
important
first
stuff to
2
worry
games,
about.
rough start.
Yeah, but sorry you have to go through that,
Game 2,
though.
we just
You know what I
randomly
mean?
allow
But
ourselves to get
then
sniped.
again, it depends on how you look at it.
Areas you guys
You know?
feel like this trio
The way I look at,
needs
you
to
know,
improve on. Is it
quote
just
unquote,
like,
death
okay,
is
am I overthinking
his
it? Is it
spirit
the
moved
age?
on to transition to
Or are there
another.
little
You
things
know what
where
I'm
like,
saying?
maybe fix this or that, you know?
The body's dead, but the energy never dies. You know what I mean? So don't get too low. You know what I mean? And trust me, animals know when you take care of them and you actually truly love them. You know what I'm saying? So don't even stress it. That would, your horsey know you cared about it.
The first victory royale puts a huge asterisk on their performance today, but we saw in the
I
final
appreciate.
few
Yeah,
games
for
they
sure.
did that Cold and Peterbot
You already know.
slowing down.
Yeah, I think the weird thing that kind of
You know I'm here for you, love.
try to like point out here, right, is that their ceiling is like a million miles above what anybody else is kind of doing right now. But they need to get like their basement, right? That bottom floor just a little bit.
Just knowing I
higher,
haven't
you know what I'm saying? Like,
had a
something
break for
like that, where
ages,
like,
just one thing
stage
after another.
where they don't put up as
And
many
Katie,
points.
usually what that means is
Comes along with it, like maybe just the play
it's
style of
life
this trio, it's just risky,
cleansing
you know,
itself
to
of
have those good,
it's.
good
Let's just say
games
this.
all the time, but
I know it's
because
hard to
they
see it and hard to
it
think
actually
about it, but
allows them to kind of
what that
pop up
really
those
means is there's something. There's a big blessing coming upon your way.
74 eliminations. I'm not gonna go ahead and
You're going through what we call a storm.
It looks bad right now at all.
Yeah,
So
and
trust me,
just to be
once you
clear,
go through the storm, you learn your lessons and you lock in.
put them down
Watch, there's gonna be a lot of blessings.
Clearly, these
Remember, when it
guys
rains,
are
it pours.
unbelievable.
So right now,
It's
it's
one of
raining
the
and pouring, but it's in a bad way, which means that once that's done, it's gonna be sunshine and rain, aka blessings and opportunity. So just give it time. Trust me.
Take a look at our top 5. Love to see that Shadow, Curve, and Tyler made it in, and we'll be seeing their finals. But unfortunately, in 11th place, Scare, Edgy, and Chance just missed out by 4 points. And to kind of set that up a little bit, Edgy has made like.
I hope so. Nah, don't hope. You gotta believe it. Trying to tell you.
Like in terms of just like how
There's no light without dark.
he's
You
been
know what I'm
playing
saying? There's
Fortnite.
no
He's had, like,
triumph
3
without failure.
finals
You know what I'm saying?
appearances, I believe.
It's just
And
it's the
remember,
balance of
when
life.
he
There's a
was
yin and a
only
yang, good and
ahead
bad.
by
You know.
3 points. And that's
You
why
can't be in the
it's
dark,
tough.
can't be in
You know,
struggle
with those
forever. You know what I'm
games,
saying?
like
There's got to
the
be a
upset,
change.
you really have to see it out through that last
Just
game.
how life works. So
So very tough.
like I'm
to
telling
see
you,
the
don't
finals
stress.
without Edgy, but don't worry, we still have last chance qualifier. It's fine, Zeke. We still have last chance qualifier.
Yeah. I mean, there's still plenty of opportunity, and I can't imagine Scare, Edgy, and Chance not preparing everything that they can for those last chance qualifiers, and that's just 3 teams making it through, joining the 30 teams that we'll find through groups 1, 2, and 3. And speaking of groups 2 and 3, next week in Vivid, we got the double header, right? We got group 2 and group 3, and plenty of giant trios making their way back.
Don't.
Yeah.
My camera did something weird. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, groups 2 and 3 being next weekend, right? Groups
You know
1
what it
kind
is?
of showed us what can possibly be on the table for some of the
Grandma, bro.
Your brother, bro.
Yeah, bro. Rest in peace, X, man. But yeah, but WKD's up in the chat, man. Appreciate you, love. Appreciate you. The 5-month streak tier 1 sub. Appreciate you, my love. Appreciate it. WKD though, really appreciate you, Katie.
We only have 3 spots available. So
Yes, big purple heart. Big purple heart. Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
There's just like so much to kind of think about for these teams. Next weekend's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm already stressed. I always get stressed for the players because, like, obviously it's a lot. And I mean, if you follow Fortnite,
It's crazy. It's already been
it's a
5
lot,
months,
but
bro. That's
at the end of
crazy
the
to
day,
think
this is still a
about.
competition, and there are still more things to happen.
Like,
in
I've
the
already
coming
been
days before we
affiliate
make
for
it to
5
finals,
months.
and then of course, eventually, the Pro-Am. That's right. Don't forget Pro-Am this Tuesday.
Believe it or not, that's actually how I keep track, Katie. Like, you and my brother Twilight, like, y'all is how I keep track of how long I've been. What you call? How long have I been affiliate?
But until next weekend, this is the
Nuts,
part
isn't
we
it?
kinda
I
have
was one of
started
your
to do
first
live.
subs, I'm sure.
I know.
No, I think you
It's
was my
the
first
part of
sub.
the show because I would love to sit here and talk Fortnite with you guys, but we have to say
I think
goodbye.
it was
So,
you,
as always, next weekend we're back. EU is before
then
us.
that other
They've got
dude,
their own groups. Please watch
and then
them.
my brother.
Encourage
I think
them.
that's how it went.
Follow
It
all the
was
players
you,
you're seeing,
him, and then my
don't forget to
brother.
check out those tickets for the FNCS Pro. And with that being said, as always, we love you. Keep yourself safe. We'll see you on that battle bus.
But yeah, nah, for sure, that is crazy. Let's open up Fortnite chat, play a few games of Fort. Guess there's supposed to be a group 2 at 12 o'clock my time, which is gonna be in another 2 hours. Oh yeah, I need to see who comes first though. Let me look at the group standings. Maybe, I'm not sure. I know I was one of the first, and you know I always support you. Nah, that's love. That's always, it's very comforting to know that. Trust me. I do appreciate you. You know that. More than you know. Trust me. More than you know, love. I hope you believe it. Of course. Yeah, let's say for example, if I didn't, you already proven yourself. You know what I mean? So, but again, I already know. You know what I'm saying? For example, only you and my brother be like consistent with the support anyway. You know what I mean? So, of course, you better. I will. I know. What, you gonna beat my ass if I don't? You gonna square up and beat me with your cash? You gonna make, hell yeah. My little feisty ass ginger gonna beat my ass with a cast. Okay, got you. I'll make sure I don't fuck with you. I got it.